All right, welcome back to the party, everybody. I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. How's everybody doing tonight? Got my co-host Morty with me. Want to give a shout out to the replay gang. Thank you so much for coming back to check out the party, even though you missed the live party. That's the best part, guys. So make sure you are here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And sometimes, whenever I feel like it, I went live yesterday, hit that subscribe button. You will never miss a party ever again. Let's also say thank you to my6shirt.com. Whatever your persuasion, they've got something for you. And of course, it is the only place to get your very own The Indian Jesus official merch. Only at my6shirt.com. All right. What is going on, everybody? I am excited for this one. We had the Minds Fest in Austin, Texas. So this was, you may have heard of Bill Ottman before. You definitely heard of Ian Crossland. But Minds is an alternative social media platform that is meant to be free speech. And there's a lot of cool stuff with the way they do it. I don't know from firsthand, but from listening to these people. And they put on a festival or a event where a bunch of people would, they had different panels and they would have different discussions. And so they had one panel with a bunch of cool people. Like I said, Bill Ottman and Ian Crossland. There was Luke Rukowski. There was Destiny and Libby Emmons, a journalist. And then Alex Jones comes in and crashes the debate. So, I mean, I don't really know what more I could say about it. So why don't we just dive right in? Welcome to the party. If you cannot hear the video, please do let me know.
Lou, so what should be banned from social media?
Nothing. Let people choose what they want to see. I think we're all adults here. If something's bad, the audience and the market will speak for itself. Obviously, you know, there's the concept of hurting children. That obviously is an exception. Obviously, there are government institutions that run international child trafficking organizations. So obviously, are you going to entrust those organizations to go after that? That's another question and conundrum that I think a lot of people are asking themselves. But other than the exception of children being hurt, I think we are adults and we could actually decipher and decide what we want to listen to and don't want to listen to. Treat us like human beings. We shouldn't be treated like babies.
I mean, Luke coming out the gate, I mean, that is how social media should be. That's how social media should be. The law of the land should apply to whatever is online. Now, how that works with people in, Saudi Arabia posting things that can be seen in the United States and vice versa, I don't really know, but that's not my problem. I'm an American, so I should be able to have my free speech, whether it is out of my mouth, whether it is my expression, the clothes that I wear, or what I say online.
That's a big box, though. Like, what can hurt children is a big...
the obvious one.
So yeah, we have Bill Ottman. He's the founder, along with Ian, of Minds. Blue hair. Obviously, we got Destiny. I'm not really sure who this guy is. I forget if they name him, but Libby Emmons and Luke Rukowski of We Are Change.
One is, of course, being sent to Jeffrey Epstein's island or being trafficked by, many of the intelligence agencies and sent off to individuals like, Bill Gates and others who, get to do whatever they want with them.
I love how Luke's coming out the gate, calling out the intelligence agencies, the Epstein Island client list, all that stuff. He is coming out hot.
I think that's the distinction there.
You would say that you should ban child porn?
Yes.
What about
Let's get a round of applause.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty simple. I don't feel like it's a very extreme idea to not want child porn on openly on these platforms and still be able to say that censorship and overcorrection is a problem.
Applause for that. Banning child porn. Yeah, there we go.
But the next question, though, is who's going to do the banning?
So, for those who don't know, what do we got? Hey, we got Jonathan Hogan in the building. Welcome to the party. He said he was in Austin, at this event in Austin, and it was great. So, stick around. Welcome to the party. Lefty Lucy in the building. Welcome. How are you doing? said, is Luke anti-porridge, as we call it on this channel? Yes, he very much is.
I think it should probably be human beings should be doing the banning and not an algorithm or a bot or something like that. I think these should be human beings checking this stuff out and taking a look for child porn, if that's what we're looking to ban.
Yeah. So with Minds, a lot of I think they go into a little bit, but not very deeply. The way that they do their moderation on Minds is they have a jury system. So if something gets flagged by like an algorithm or an individual, hey, we got the free ego in the building. What is good? What is good? Welcome to the party. So if something gets flagged on the Minds algorithm, then the post, whatever it is, will go out to 12 random people who are just Minds users. Like the same way you use TikTok, YouTube, whatever, part of using that platform would be, they get the thing where, they would have to decide, is this something that should be taken down, or is this something that is not? He's not excited for you. He is excited for the treats coming. That's right. Every single treat or every single super chat comes with a treat for Morty. So if you want to feed him, that is totally up to you. Hey, we got Dan Jensen in the building, my biggest supporter. What is good? What is good? Welcome to the party, brother. Thank you for the reminder. So glad you are here.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like AI can help find it, but have a human layer of protection.
It always has to be a human layer of protection, especially when we're talking about something as sensitive as
And Dan starting it off. No question, no comment, just pure love of the game. So every single one, Morty, we're starting already. Yummy. Thank you, Dan. Let me get you in the banner. The sponsor of the stream is the highest donation, and you get shout out in the banner. Let me get that for you.
free speech.
Although the issue with putting a human in charge is that, firstly, definitions can change. So what's porn today might be normalized in 10 years. And secondly, they have the keys so that they can put their foot on the gas when they want to, take it off when they don't.
You're talking about standards, which we are lacking as a culture right now in a society, and we do need standards.
That's a great point, because like we talk about all the time, whether it's your whatever ideology that you are connected to, it's the values that underlie that will really dictate what the behavior of somebody is going to really do. So we're never going to be okay with child porn as long as we have the values that say that children are innocent and shouldn't be doing that.
That's something that I think is paramount.
Do you think that the community can function as a form of algorithm, like the human consciousness, so we don't have to rely on like algorithmic code? We can let the people somehow decide together?
I don't know what that looks like.
Like a jury?
What are you talking about?
I mean, we have a jury.
For those of you who don't watch Timcast IRL, Ian is a regular co-host, and he either hits it out the park or he swing and a miss. Hey, we got Democrat Poop City in the building. Welcome to the party. Said, how come not streaming on Rumble? They give 100% revenue to the streamer and can monetize at day one. Well, the replay does get posted to Rumble, but unfortunately, unless you are already somebody who has a big following, then I would be over on Rumble with nobody watching. So the all my stuff definitely is over there. If you want to search it, it is there. But especially through StreamYard, you can't simulcast on YouTube and Rumble. So the goal absolutely is to get enough subscribers to be able to move over to Rumble and stop helping YouTube as much as so many of us are. Yeah, Rumble is they're not dead. They're coming along. They just did a deal with Destiny. They just did a deal with Crowder. But that's it. So people will go over to watch Destiny. People will go over to watch Crowder, but they're not going to browse around and find my content. There's every video. I drop videos every single day, and then we're live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and everything goes over there. But I'll get maybe 2-3 views. The only thing that got a lot of views was when we were talking about Crowder on when he went on the Patrick Bet David podcast after all of that drama to announce that he was going to Rumble. That was really the only thing that gets over there. Yeah, maybe we gotta. I'm building up one thing at a time. So hit that subscribe button and help me get over there. Much appreciated, Democrat Poop City. Yeah, for you go. It's not dead. It's just not as varied or widely reaching as YouTube yet. Correct. Yeah, it's that's in the cards. That's in the cards, but gotta do one thing at a time. One thing at a time. I mean, I am on Twitter right now, streaming on Twitter as well, but
system at
Like a
mind.
jury?
I say we liberally, but because Bill's been running the company, not me.
Right.
But yeah, there's a jury. Like if something gets up for banned, then and they want to appeal the act, it'll go to like a group of people to decide.
That's an interesting concept. What kind of jury? Like a grand jury that would be potentially impaneled?
this is what I was talking. Well, so Frigo saying the side effect of people who are banned off of the platforms moving to that is that you just get the people who are not allowed on YouTube going over to Rumble, and then like I said, even the people who are watching, it's just they go over to watch that person that got banned. But yeah, what they're talking about in the video right now is the jury system of minds that I was talking about earlier.
And they want to appeal the act, it'll go to
A jury?
I say we liberally, but because Bill's been running the company, not me. But yeah, there's a jury. Like if something gets up for banned, then and they want to appeal the act, it'll go to like a group of people to decide.
That's an interesting concept. What kind of jury? Like a grand jury that would be potentially impaneled?
It's a randomized set of active users who aren't connected to each other to try to decrease bias. But yeah, we try to keep ourselves in check with the community.
So yeah, that's just basically it's a very different way of going about content moderation. I think it's really good, and it doesn't get enough attention, and more places should be doing it. Democrats Poop City says this is on Rumble with the panel, not cut up, full length, and that's where he streamed this live. I mean, hey, if I had enough people to follow me over there, I would be over there. So like I said, the more subscribers we get, the sooner I can move over to Rumble.
I mean, I think the issue, I don't know if we're talking like in a dream world or as it exists right now. I think the problem is once a platform grows to a certain size, having a human element in moderation is just like prohibitively expensive. I think that's why for, Jesus, over a decade, when did Steam start automating their bans? I think having like human people involved in every single moderation action just becomes prohibitively expensive for any sufficiently large tech company, I think.
I don't disagree with that, but I think that is a cost that is worth, saying why, to spend the money to have that happen. It's not worth having the platforms in the first place if we can't use them for what we want to use them for.
But we need the protection of human interpretation in order to secure free speech. I mean, without free speech, we really have nothing at all. It's like pretty much the only thing that matters.
Not sure who
I mean,
Kai is.
well, I think there's a lot of things that matter besides free speech.
Not sure who Kai is, but same thing, issues with Rumble, issues with Twitch as well, that I was streaming everywhere I could. And, this is the only place I grew an audience because I am not very much in line with a lot of Twitch's TOS and people that are over there. So I'm not surprised that people, even on the left, people are, who aren't saying like conspiracy theory stuff are just getting banned left and right. So, I mean, this is what they're talking about is exactly why all of what we're talking about with Twitch and Rumble and all that stuff isn't what we want it to be. And we need a better way to moderate this stuff. I'm going to call you a DPC. DPC said, Kai, he was their most subscribed streamer, just banned a couple hours ago. The most subscribed streamer. That is crazy. What did he get banned for? Probably nothing. But what are they saying he got banned for?
But I guess the question becomes like, is it a company's job to safeguard what I guess we're using in common parlance free speech, because we're not really talking about the First Amendment right now. Should it even be a company's, I guess, prerogative to guard free speech, right?
I was talking pretty much about the First Amendment.
Well, the First Amendment says nothing
paramount
for being banned on like Twitter or YouTube, right?
So he is making a good point. Dustin's making a good point that if we're talking about, there's the difference between there's a difference between the First Amendment that protects our speech as citizens from the government. And then there's the idea, the concept of free speech, that we should have a marketplace of ideas and anybody should be able to say whatever they want. Yeah, of course, just randomness. Oh, he gets banned all the time. Yep. Again, I'm not surprised. This is exactly why we're going over stuff like this, because the way that they moderate these platforms, it's just not good. It's not good for us creators. It's not good for the companies. You know, the idea that this is the most subscribed person on the platform, obviously, you know, in this attention economy, keeps people's eyes on Twitch, and then the ads and everything that go through all of that stuff. That's their whole business model. So to be banning your biggest cash cow it's just stupid. It's just stupid.
Well, because of like the whole private company thing.
Well, because it's not the government thing, right?
Yeah, but you don't have to be the government to censor.
Well, no, but you're violating their free speech by demanding that they're not allowed to censor, right? That's the whole point of having freedom of speech, is that the government shall make no law abridging somebody's freedom of speech. If Twitter...
He's not incorrect about that, but this is where the Section 230 platform versus publisher comes in. Like, if you are a publisher, then yes, you can't. You have the same free speech rights as anybody else. But if you're a platform, then it's not you that's saying anything. It's the people that are posting that are saying things. And so again, that's why we need to clearly define whether Twitter, Facebook, all these things are platforms where they are not responsible for what is posted. And therefore, if somebody posts something, it's on the person. Or they're like the New York Times, where everything is under the New York Times banner. So anything that appears in that paper is under their banner, and they bear the responsibility of anything that's false, fake news, or whatever. The whole thing comes down to Section 230. Are they platforms or are they publishers?
Twitter doesn't want to host your speech. Twitter has the right to do that.
Censorship goes far beyond like just, I mean,
These are not people.
companies, look, here's the thing. It doesn't matter if it's just the government. I mean, censorship can happen at a non-governmental level.
Yeah, but then it wouldn't be the First Amendment, because the First Amendment is about the government. If we want to talk about other types of censorship, we can.
I mean, when he originally brought that up, I thought it was a good thing to separate. But in this instance, it kind of just seems like he's being pedantic.
But the government is governed by the First Amendment, right?
Well, the term government really means mind control. You know, mente is like Latin, I think, for mind, and govern is Latin for control. So, like, look at what the system of control is. And at this state, it's an algorithmic code or multitude of codes that are governing the way we behave. So you could make an argument that we would amend the Constitution to include other forms of government than the political system.
That would be interesting, to update the Constitution to bring in these types of things. I don't know if we would need to go that far necessarily. Maybe just a bill to clarify that. So DBC asked, did you upgrade your opinion over the Andrew Tate situation when he got released on house arrest? No, I did not, and I will tell you exactly why. Because from the very first time I ever covered Andrew Tate on this channel, he was on with I don't know these guys. He was on with Aiden Ross and XQC. And I didn't really know much about Andrew Tate besides, like, you know, some clips and stuff. But from the very first time, I said, look, I know that if you're in the business of doing cam girls and all that stuff, and you're you know, in this manosphere red pill space, it makes sense that regardless of what you do, that you'd have rumors around you that you were doing, you know, the traffic type of crimes. It also makes sense that you actually would be doing those things. And so from then and remaining till now, I still maintain that, hey, if it comes out that that is what he did, then I will accept that that is what he did. Until then, they are just rumors. That's been my position the entire time. And on this channel, we like to focus on, you know, what people say rather than who they are. Because the dumbest people can say amazing things, and the smartest people can say terrible things. I mean, you know, I used to think Sam Harris was one of the smartest people I ever knew. And then he said he would rather, even if he saw on Hunter Biden's laptop that there was dead children in his basement, that he would still vote for Joe Biden. So it's definitely more about what the message is rather than who the person is. I mean, it definitely counts, but it's about the message.
Clarence Thomas has a brief that he writes to the Supreme Court about whether or not the government is mind control. I'll take a look at that, I guess.
You tell him, Ian. But I think we're learning right now with Twitter specifically that free speech is popular. And when we look at the censorship of speech, it is the government's hand in these companies, and they know that it's not profitable for them to destroy someone's speech. And this is what they've been doing. They've been going to YouTube. They've been going to Facebook. They've been going to Alphabet and all these companies and saying, you know what, we're going to make sure that you guys are going to lose business and we're going to silence people because we don't like them. And I think right now Twitter is certainly challenging that notion that speech needs to be protected, needs to be censored, because I think they're doing better than ever. I think the platform is thriving. I enjoy the platform personally myself, speaking from a biased perspective.
Yeah, what about you guys? Have you, since Elon took over, do you enjoy Twitter more or less? Do you see more of a variety of tweets and ideas, or do you see less?
But I think they're really showing and leading the way, saying free speech is the answer, and it could also be profitable, and it could also be successful at the same time, allowing a perfect harmony of profit and respect of individuals to speak their mind.
I think something that I spoke about earlier, real quick, was when we have these conversations, I think it's very important that we're firmly rooted in reality. And conservatives have this mantra that they, I guess, repeat to themselves at midnight in the mirror with all the lights turned off, that go woke, go broke, go woke, go broke, go woke. It's not true.
It is true.
It's absolutely not true.
So let's break that down, because there is a lot of truth to the fact that just because you do something woke doesn't mean you're going to go broke. Disney is one of the worst offenders, and they are making a lot of money. Netflix is really bad, and nobody, I still have a Netflix account. It's not a hard and fast rule. It's a tendency. And it really shows itself when you cross a certain line. So if you are, just doing like a rainbow LGBT whatever commercial, then you're probably not gonna get canceled for that. But when you do things like the Gillette ad, and you push that line, and now you're specifically saying that men are bad because they're men, that is going to hurt you. Then you got Jeremy's razors and all that stuff. When you're Hershey's and you're talking about how you want to celebrate women, and then you put a man in front, that's crossing that line. That's going to get you, to lose some money. Same thing with Budweiser. So he is right that it's not a hard and fast rule. It's just a tendency, and it's something to be aware of. Frigo says, I don't really feel a difference between takeover and pre-takeover Twitter. Fair enough. Dan says, well, they are still banning people. Only some people are getting back on Twitter. Yep. Frigo says, there are a few things I need changing in terms of moderation. Plenty of people buy old accounts with thousands to hundreds of thousands of followers and purge them to have an inbuilt audience. Yeah, I mean, that happens on all platforms. And it's stupid, but, what are you going to do about that? I would love to be able to say that you can't, unless it's a company account, that you wouldn't be able to switch it over, but I think that's the least of our problems. Poop City says, Elon said the government, FBI, CIA, etc. had full access to everyone's DMs and communication on Twitter in that Twitter clip. Yep. Oh yeah, they're getting into the Twitter files. Don't you worry, they are getting into it.
These companies online that are
Vanguard just pulled back and said, after a decade of pursuing ESG, is the third most powerful investment firm in the world, we are leaving ESG.
We're not ESG. We're not talking about ESG. Please, guys.
This is what woke is. Environmental social governance.
The reality.
What do you think social is?
The reality is that online having aggressive.
Again, notice this is why we like Destiny over here, because even if we don't agree with all the things he says, he knows how to handle himself. This dude in the black shirt was questioned on him, and he just rolled right through it. Watch it again.
ESG, we're not talking about ESG. Please.
Called him out, and he's like, no, that is true. We have ESG, all this, whatever. And Destiny knows that he doesn't have a leg to stand on in that argument. So he's like, let me avoid that.
God, this is what woke is. Environmental social governance.
The reality.
What do you think social is?
The reality is that online, having aggressive moderation platforms that are trying to ban speech that a lot of you guys want to protect, that I want to protect, that I think is cool to protect, is actually a pretty profitable decision. If it wasn't, they wouldn't do it.
What about in publishing? What about in publishing, not in social media? What about censorship in publishing?
I don't know as much about books.
If a private company is acting on behalf of the government in censoring speech, is that a violation of the First Amendment?
If the government was telling people to censor people, I guess
that is what happened with Twitter over the last 2 years.
We saw that. We saw that.
Twitter file.
Sure. So we saw that.
Yeah, Poop City says ESG is fully responsible for all the trash out of Hollywood, commercials and companies. Absolutely. And that's why Destiny doesn't want to go down that road, because he knows that that's not a conversation that's going to look good for him.
With the Twitter files, that is absolutely not the case. If you actually read any of them, past the actual tweets, the government was not making explicit requests to censor political speech on Twitter.
They weren't making specific requests. They weren't specifically saying you have to do this right now. But people aren't stupid. When they say, hey, something might be coming down the pipe and we don't know if it's good. So if you want to stay in our good graces, I'm just saying. It's such a cliche. It's such a cliche because you think of the old mobsters and they come by, and they're like, if you don't want anything to happen to your store, then, you might want to pay us for security or something. That's basically what the government did with Twitter. I mean, this is such a coping argument from Destiny. Hey, we got misanthropic altruist in the building. What is good? What is good? Say crazy or not, Alex is more loved than Destiny. Yep, we got, when we said pick a debate partner, Alex Jones got 77% of the vote. And I'm right there with you guys.
Not happening. Patently false. It's patently false. It's patently false. Is it okay for the government to ask a company to censor?
Well, it depends on what the censorship request is for.
No,
If it's for
that is a yes or no question.
Listen,
is it okay for the government to ask the company to censor?
It depends on what you're trying to censor. If it's
Why does it depend? So then this is where the next person needs to come and say, okay, it depends on what? What is it that would be okay for the government to tell a company to censor? Because we already have laws and we already have terms of service. So what is it that it would depend on? What would be okay for the government to say that you have to censor this? Poop City says 100%. AJ predicted the lockdown 15 years ago, even made a documentary about it. More crazy stuff coming. Oh, definitely more stuff coming. It has just begun. And they says depends means yes. Yep. Hey, we got LF in the building. Welcome to the party. We are just checking out a debate panel from the Minds Fest in Austin, Texas. I think it was this past weekend. And talking about Twitter files, moderation, all that kind of stuff. Welcome to the party.
Is somebody making a death threat? Yeah, that's probably okay. If it's pictures,
But is somebody making a death threat? That's already against the law. So why does the government need to tell the company to do that? They should already be doing that, or the company then is breaking the law.
of Hunter Biden's cock, which I know you guys are all real excited about, it's probably okay. Yeah, it depends on what the censorship request is. Yeah.
So, okay, keep going with that.
Guys, can I just ask you really quick to hit that like button? It is so easy and it's free and it helps me out a lot. Thank you so much, guys.
So when a journalistic output is withheld from disclosing a story that could be detrimental to a presidential candidate.
Let's remember that the average poll said 17%. 17% of people said that they would change their vote if they had seen the Hunter Biden laptop story. That would have changed the election. Dan says, yeah, no, exactly. That's exactly what they're talking about. 17%. 17%. We would have a Trump presidency right now. Emily said, when Destiny says depends, it means yes. When your parents say it depends, it means maybe. When your girlfriend says it depends, it means no. Good one.
And they did not carry that same treatment to the other side. And it was not just Hunter Biden's cock. It was the fact that there was a potential that there was illegal drugs, there was underage prostitutes, there was a whole slew.
There was influence peddling.
It's his son.
Somebody in the crowd is acting like, so what? It's Hunter Biden. It's not Joe Biden. Yeah, because, you know, Hunter Biden has nothing to do with any geopolitical connections around the world, right?
Who gives a shit about his son who's involved in his business dealings, who gets $50,000 a month working for Burisma in a country that we have a proxy state set up in?
I do.
How is that not involved with Biden? Are you kidding me?
And there are major polls and studies.
So the reality is, and I highly encourage you guys to read the Twitter files because I don't think anybody up here actually has. If you actually read the emails where they discuss banning content, it wasn't the government told us to censor this story. The government never made a request to Twitter to censor the Hunter Biden story. That was testified to.
He's hinging upon the some type of specific sentence. We want you to take this down or else. He's saying unless he sees that, then there's no way that the government influence can be there, which is silly. It is silly. He is a smart dude. He knows that it's not out in the open like that. He knows that that's not how it works. Come on, bro.
Under oath multiple times by multiple people at Twitter.
Well, yeah, and people never lie under oath, right?
It is not the case that that story was censored because of the government. It was a complicated internal conversation that Twitter had amongst themselves. You can read the conversations. They're
So
published in
basically
the
what
emails.
you're saying is that Twitter's self-censored.
Yes.
So a climate of self-censorship does come from a government level.
No.
Yes, it comes
No,
from
it doesn't.
government intimidation. Yes, it
Were
does.
there or were there?
Hold on.
This is historic.
If it came from government intimidation, why did Twitter only adhere to like 37% of the requests the government actually made?
Wait a minute. 37% of the requests you just said there was no request. Did I miss something? Did I miss something? Wait a minute. Hold on.
Of self.
I want to get exactly what he said.
Never made a request to Twitter
Never made a request.
to censor the Hunter Biden story.
Okay.
That was testified to under oath multiple times by multiple people at Twitter. It is not the case that that story was censored because of the government. It
Facts, Poop City.
was a complicated internal conversation that Twitter had amongst themselves. You can read the conversations. They're
So
published in the
basically what
emails.
you're saying is that Twitter's self-censored.
Yes.
So
So remember, he just said the request from, or there was no request from the government.
a climate of self-censorship does come from a government level.
No.
Yes, it comes
No,
from
it doesn't.
government intimidation. Yes, it
Were
does.
there or were there?
Hold on.
This is historic.
If it came from government intimidation, why did Twitter only adhere to like 37% of the requests the government actually made?
You just said there was no request, and now you're saying 37% of all requests to the government were followed by Twitter. The math ain't mathin', brother. Poopsini says they said there would be some disinfo coming out of Russia soon, all over the media. Yeah, I'm sure.
Just because they didn't go along with 100%, according to your
Oh,
data
come on.
here,
No, so the
that
government
doesn't
can
mean
only
it.
intimidate you 37% of the time?
I think it's a valid question.
No, it's
and I
not a
think
valid question. That
yes,
was
it is.
ridiculous.
No,
If an
it's not
FBI
at all.
agent is outside
and I think
my house,
I think that
and I
we
have
see
had-
that there was government intimidation at Twitter, and I think that you can see that in the Twitter files.
No, you
I
can't.
think
Where?
that you saw that with
Where do you see
regard
that
to. I don't have it in front of me.
Okay, well, I read them, okay?
Okay.
And I'm telling you that they did not intimidate them.
So now you're moving the goalposts. You said they didn't intimidate them. How do you define intimidate? I would argue that they did intimidate them. You just because they didn't say it or else doesn't mean that it's not intimidation.
have had conversations with the FBI. If the FBI was outside my house, they're going to intimidate me more than 37%.
Can I
of the
ask you a
time.
question?
Okay?
Were there any emails in the Twitter files between a government actor, bureaucracy, or elected official and Twitter's executive team?
Yes.
That's it. That's it. Unless it was, hey, how you doing? Good. Everything good at home? If it was anything other than that, if it was anything related to content, if it was anything related to elections, if it was anything related to that, then that breaks down your entire argument.
Is that not highly problematic when the request coming from government involved political candidates? Yes or no?
It depends on the request. If it's just
How?
if it's just
How?
Do you think it is essential that uncensored pictures of Hunter Biden's dick remain on Twitter?
When he's
Answer
the
that question.
son,
Answer that
yes.
question. Okay,
When he
that's
is
where
the
we're at right now.
son,
That's where the conversation is right now.
it's
Okay.
the New York Post. It's not like it's a porn outlet that's posting these pictures. The second oldest journalistic output in the United States.
Destiny's trying to frame this as, oh, you guys just want to see his dick. You just want to see his dick. No, his dick was news, very relevant news. We want to see the relevant true news. That's what we want. If that happens to be Hunter Biden's dick, then yes, we would like to see Hunter Biden's dick. Clip that up. Dan says, what was said on the monthly meetings, FBI and CIA had Twitter, Facebook, Google, and so on. Yep, they're all in their pocket. They're all working together. MA said, Destiny and Sam Harris should start a band called Denial. Good one. Yeah, exactly. But grab him by the pussy is the worst thing in the world. They still go on with that. They still talk about that. If the whole sentence was, they let you grab him by the pussy. Like, I certainly wouldn't want to be caught on tape talking like that. But if they let you, then they let you. What do you want me to say about it?
Broke a story, government emailed
2 more likes, guys. Can I get 2 more likes, please? Thank you.
Twitter's executive team. What happened 2 weeks out from the election? Then they delete the story of the New York Post. So how is that not a company acting on behalf of the government to violate the First Amendment of a journalist? How
It is.
is that not the case?
Because Twitter never said that they deleted that post because of the government.
Of course they never said they deleted it because of the government. That would break down the whole game, Destiny. That is the whole point. There would not be a story if the government would, if they called up and they were like, hey, listen, we needed to take this story down. And they were like, okay, yeah, thank you. We wouldn't have, it would just be like, oh, that's messed up. There would be no argument here. The reason the Twitter files are important is because we need to see the context of the conversations that they had and made it very obvious that that is exactly what they were doing.
And you believe them?
I just want to clarify. Hold on.
You're reporting from the Twitter files. What are you citing?
Let's stop screaming. Let's try to understand each other and
Yeah, Luke.
because we're getting a little bit crazy. We're getting a little
Real quick, just so we're on the same page.
Let's get a little civil.
How many people up here actually read the actual tweets, not just the headline?
Thank you, Matt Taibbi.
Okay, so we've got 2 people.
Okay,
Shout out to Matt Tate. And look who we got. Look who we got on the panel.
But I just want to ask you the question.
In case you didn't notice, that is Alex Jones, who just came in. Lefty Lucy says, I refuse to take on board the ramblings of a Smurf. Hey, we gotta look beyond that. We gotta look beyond that. It doesn't matter what color his hair is. It doesn't matter whether his wife gets dicked down by other dudes. It doesn't matter if he's willing to suck a dick himself. If he's saying things that other people are listening to and then going out and voting, it matters. It absolutely matters. Wait for that to come up. Poop City says, even the lefties were clapping for Alex. Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't? Even if you hate him, you know you're going to have a good time while he's there. You know you're going to have a good time. Dan said, we all know what happened. Only Destiny that have has a lot of chemicals on his head don't know. Yeah, well, he's got he's got a narrative to protect. He's got a narrative to protect.
Steven requested to have Alex on tonight, so I thought
they told me to get here at 8 o'clock. I didn't even go on stage at 8. So I'm only 30 seconds late. Sorry.
Alex, do you think that what was the exact question? Do you think that there's things that should be censored online, Alex? I guess, how do you want to ask it, Steven? How would you ask Alex this, where we're at right now?
I'm not even sure what I would ask Alex right now.
I would just go back to 5 years ago where violent threats, specifically calling for violence, which is illegal already, and child porn and stuff like that, and people's hacked personal information. Those things are illegal. Things that are illegal are illegal.
There you go. Things that are illegal are already illegal. So we don't need the terms of service to further narrow what we can say. Ideally, we would have unfettered free speech. But that obviously can cause a lot of problems. So we have to little tiny ways to reel it in. You can't be, like I said, death threats and all that stuff. But other than that, free speech should be free.
Not our free speech. It's really simple.
Do you think that there are things where it's like it's legal but unethical that should be pulled down?
No, I mean, I think it should be the Wild West. That's what America and freedom is.
Yeah, there is no. This is how it works in the Discord server. If you are not, if this party's not enough for you, the party rages on in the Indian Jesus Discord server, where it is absolutely a free speech platform, except for stuff that is illegal. And we try very hard to keep it that way. I've never had to ban anybody. I've never had to do anything like that because you are allowed to block or mute anybody that you want. And so, I'm sure as it grows and we get, thousands of people in there, then, we might have to tighten it up a little bit. But for as long as we can, I want to keep that an unfettered free speech platform. So if that's something you're interested in, head on over to the Discord. If one of the mods could drop the link, thank you so much.
And And once you open the Pandora's box, everybody is going to say this is evil. Another group's going to say that's evil. Conservatives are going to say ban this. Liberals are going to say ban that. This group's going to say ban this. And then it's special interest banning what they don't like. No, that's not what I want. I'm a big enough adult that I want to see everything. People say, well, then don't let the kids see it. Ban TikTok. No, don't let your kids on TikTok be their parent.
What is
That's really hard as somebody who's not a parent. I don't really understand how, and I'm not saying this to be like, how dare you parents, but I'm just saying as somebody who's not a parent, I can't understand why a parent would want their children on social media. I cannot imagine. What is the reasoning that, like, well, we know it's horrible. We know it's ruining their attention span. We know it's putting all this degeneracy in front of their face, but what is the but? Demograph Poop City says there is a tweet that has 120K likes that the poster is happy that a white girl getting viciously beaten up for accusations of saying the N-word. Lost part of my soul seeing that. Violence. Yep, Lefty Lucy, you're right. It's a cheap babysitter. People don't want to be parents. People don't care about the structure of a family, and they don't see how this stuff is really eroding what family values are. Keep your kids off TikTok.
Okay, so I'm curious. What is your enforcement mechanism? You want to go to Twitter and you want to say you're not allowed to deplatform certain speech or ban certain actors. What do you want to do to keep them from doing that?
Go to, I mean, I don't know the exact way that you would go through Section 230, make sure that they are deemed a platform and not a publisher. In the same way that there is nobody, the whole digital town square argument. The fact that free speech applies out in the world. If you go to a public square and you start screaming obscenities, nobody can stop you. We have free speech. Just because that is now, the town square is now online, that shouldn't change. So Twitter should not be held responsible for people put things on their platform, which they are a platform. They are not a publisher. The people who publish the tweets are the publishers. Twitter's not responsible for any of that. I don't understand why they would care then. And then once you set that precedent, then you don't have to worry about, oh, advertisers don't like this, advertisers don't like that, advertisers don't. It's like, hey, this is what it is. It's a free speech platform. Everybody is on here. So if you want to advertise, great. If not, then, I don't know, you're SOL. Misanthropic Altruist says, Black Pill, Clown World, and the state control children, not parents. Facts. And that is a sad, sad, sad reality.
Do you want to make it illegal for you to ban people that you disagree with, that do hate speech? Like, what does the enforcement mechanism look like there?
Well, hate speech is really just a modern corporate name. I mean, when U.S. senators call for nuclear war with Russia, to me, that's hate speech. But they still have a right to say that and be crazy people calling for World War III. So one person.
That's a great point. Calling for bombs to, go over an entire country is not hate speech. But, a dog whistle should get you banned.
What?
Make that make sense.
This is hate speech is somebody else's love speech. So.
Ooh, one person's hate speech is another person's love speech. I love that. And they said for decades, the state and the deep state, whatever you want to call it, have taken more authority away from parents, and the clown world culture captivates their imagination. Absolutely. On point, brother.
As long as somebody isn't saying, go shoot this up or go attack this group, let the KKK, who are a bunch of idiots, or let the new Black Panther Party, they're basically a black KKK group, let them sound like idiots off of their own little echo chamber. Yep. We know what they're saying. We know what they're doing. We're watching them in case they're about to get violent. Everybody knows in all the studies, you suppress speech, it puts stuff underground.
That's just what I was going to say, is that that when these people have these ideas, banning them off of platforms doesn't make their ideas go away. All it does is consolidate them into a place where they're allowed to consolidate. That's why all the people who get banned off of Twitter go over to, Gab or something, because and now they're all connected. Now they're all in an echo chamber. It doesn't help. It doesn't do what you want it to do. Just let people speak.
You wanted the old American idea that was really the vanguard, that was the Renaissance. We call it old now, but really it's the new thinking that we forgot about and went back to the old thinking of tyranny, is to let everything out there and believe in the public to choose what makes sense. And in that world, whether it's the new Black Panther Party or the KKK, we're going to reject those idiots and we're going to embrace a civilization.
Yeah, I mean, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Hey, we got no freedoms in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. So did that fool just say the Black Panther Party is like a KKK? He said the new Black Panther Party. White people don't even want to know what the real anti-KKK would be like. Fair enough. And they said, hey, Alex must have caught my old podcast. You want people with bad ideas to be able to express them, so everyone knows who to avoid. Yeah, man, this is an idea that's been around forever. It's always been that this is how we want to treat speech that we don't like. We want it out in the open. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. If you don't want to see it because, oh, it hurts my feelings. But then they go over to Gab, and now they have they are way more organized and way more connected and able to enact some of the terrible things that they want. Would you rather that? Of course not. Driving them underground gives them validation via persecution. Yep, yeah. So it's not only that they are now all together, but now they have a bond that, oh, we were all taken down. That's I mean, look at Sneeko. He's like, oh, the Matrix got me. The Matrix got me. It's like, nah, bro, you got you. You got you. Lucy says, it helps if all the far right people are in one place, though. Promotes their domestic terrorist rhetoric. But I mean, what do you mean it helps? We obviously don't want domestic terrorism. So putting them all in the same place is not the way to go. Hey, we got Kelly Green in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Shout out to Alex Jones, said he's a gay frog. They're turning the frogs day. And Alex Jones was kind of right about that. Throw another $1 into the Alex Jones was right jar. Xanthropic Ultra says it also helps to pinpoint what and who far right really is, rather than people lump all sorts of ideas and people inaccurately into that category. Yeah, usually it's just whatever we don't like now becomes far right. And even if those people who you're deeming far right don't believe the same things because of all this other stuff that we're talking about, they coalesce. And now it's like, all right, well, I don't really think that, but you're on my team, so whatever, let's do it. And it makes things worse. That's all it does. Nobody who was banned from Twitter disappeared when they got banned. All they did was find another place to say the same exact things.
And you radicalize,
again,
you do radicalize more people by censoring speech, and you put them off into farther corners of the internet where they become more radicalized. And that's why a more honest, transparent conversation and dialogue where we're able to have actual clarity on the issues and actually fix the wrongs and actually discuss the problems actually helps fix the larger issues that we're dealing with, rather than
what is the
censoring them.
enforcement mechanism? How do you keep Twitter from banning people that you don't want banned? What do you think should be done?
Well, hold on. First, he's moving the goalposts again. First, we're saying whether or not these people should be banned. Now he's not saying, okay, you're right. I do think these people shouldn't be banned. But what do we do? This, that, and the other. He just skipped right over that, and now he's able to reframe the conversation. This is the stuff you guys need to pay attention to when you're looking at debates and conversations like this. How people will use sneaky little tactics to make themselves look better than they really are. Hey, we got Jonathan Hogan in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. How are you doing, brother? Says banning just causes echo chambers. It just makes it worse. Yep, absolutely. Got banned off Twitter, YouTube, Reddit. Well, you're not banned on YouTube. You're here right now, but it's only a matter of time, right? Democrat Poop City says imperialism far right? Because I only see leftists supporting the military-industrial complex in Ukraine and everywhere else right now. It's definitely not far right, but you're right about the leftists supporting all of this stuff. That's because they don't have these values to go by. They've been told that Ukraine is good and Russia is bad, and therefore we need to give them money, and eventually American troops on the ground in Ukraine. You heard it here. We will get there. We will get there. MA said, No Freedoms appreciates the distinction between the original Black Panther Party and the co-opted, dumb, new Black Panther Party. Based.
I think Minds is doing a great job. I think the way that Minds conducts itself,
Are we
I
up here
think the
talking
way
about
that
what to do about other
I
social
think the way
media
that
get
they
it.
I want to
decision.
take that back. I want to back that up to show you guys what he did. So remember, the conversation was about whether banning helps.
Actual clarity on the issues and actually fix the wrongs and actually discuss the problems actually helps fix the larger issues that we're dealing with.
So that's where we were, and listen to where Destiny goes.
Yeah, but
rather
again,
than
what is the
censoring them.
enforcement mechanism? How
What is the enforcement mechanism? That's a different conversation, brother. You got to concede that you were wrong. You got to concede that everybody else is right before you just move on like that. Just got to make sure I can put the No Freedoms comments up. He says to MA, so Black people got tired of singing the old Bible the old Bible songs, and now want guns. Yeah, the new Black Panther Party is not even close to the KK, and the old ones were heroes. And Miss Anthropic Altruist says, I agree entirely. Not going to pretend to be a scholar on the Black Panther movement, but it sounds like what I've heard. Jonathan says, then again, social media just seems to make people crazy. That's why I've never used Twitter, MySpace, Facebook, none of it. It's ruined people. Well, good on you, brother. Good on you. Because it is addicting, and it definitely does warp people's minds. I mean, TikTok seems to be the worst right now, but it's not like any of these were any better. MA says, as a matter of fact, I do not think any pro-Black movement since the original Black Party has been organic. Nope. It's all tokenized, pandering. That's all it is. That's all it is. Original Black Panther Party were also ruined by Marxists and Fed imposters. Yep.
How do you keep Twitter from banning people that you don't want banned? What do you think should be done?
I think Minds is doing a great job. I think the way that Minds conducts itself,
Are we up
I
here
think the
talking
way
about
that,
what to do about other
I
social
think the way
media?
that they decide these decisions.
He gets a good answer. Luke's like, hey, okay, even though you're asking this question that isn't really relevant to the conversation we were just having and you're moving the goalpost, I'll give you an answer. And then he doesn't like that answer. So he's like, well, weren't we talking about Twitter? No, we were talking about how we can play out this moderation.
People that you don't want banned. What do you think should be done?
He asked that, not expecting anybody to have an answer. And Luke comes out, not missing a beat.
I think Minds is doing a great job. I think the way that Minds conducts itself,
Are we up here
and listen how mad he is.
the way
about what to do about other
I
social
think the way
media?
that they
You're
decide
asking,
these decisions is
you're
a great
asking,
way
how
to
do we
address
do
it.
that?
You'd miss it if you blinked. Aren't we up here talking about something that I want to talk about? No, sir. No. We're talking about the same thing that you started we were talking about when you sat down. Just because it's not going your way doesn't mean that anybody else changed the goalpost. You're the only one moving the goalpost.
That I mean, I think as a population, we have big corporations, we have think tanks, we have so-called fact-checking groups pressuring Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and Google and all its subsidiaries to censor. And I think as a population, we reject and we boycott and we stand against censors and we promote the platforms that are open and free. And then again, just 5-10 years ago, if a conservative got censored, the left was against it. If the left got censored, the right was against it. We have to go back to being unified and saying our speech is king. Our right to see and watch and listen to what we want is paramount, because you're not censoring Alex Jones, or you're not censoring Luke Radowski, or you're not censoring Jack Posobiec, or you're not censoring Tucker Carlson or Naomi Wolf or whoever it is. When you censor them, you're censoring our ability to hear what they're saying.
Ooh, it's not them you're censoring. You're censoring our ability to hear what they are saying. That's brilliant. There's one more thing. Oh, thank you, Democrat Poop City. Yeah, this is what I do. This is what we do. I take these conversations and I break down the little things that people use to manipulate you. Lefty Lisa said Black Panthers use the commie salute. They were controlled from the start. Like I said, not an expert. Hold on. There's one other thing that he said. He was talking about how the left and right used to be united in that we didn't want people banned. It used to be the liberal rallying cry that I hate your speech, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. What happened to that? What happened to that? Remember this. I'm going to start this. Remember this.
And watch and listen to what we want is paramount, because you're not censoring Alex Jones, or you're not censoring Luke Radowski, or you're not censoring Jack Posobiec, or you're not censoring Tucker Carlson or Naomi Wolf or whoever it is. When you censor them, you're censoring our ability to hear what they're saying.
But you're also censoring anyone else who might speak up. So that's a big thing too. I mean, a liberal value, a very classical liberal value, was that even if you disagree with someone's speech, you'll defend their right to express themselves.
Exactly. I may disagree with you, but I will defend to the death your right to say what you're saying.
And that's a value that we need as Americans, and that's a value that we need online.
Exactly. Remember when the liberals and the Jewish law firms used to support the KKK marching? I mean, those liberal law firms.
There was a murder she wrote about that.
Absolutely. I mean, they didn't support the idiot KKK, but they said, we got to let these morons march or we lose all our rights, which was true.
It was true. That you know, when whether it's the KKK or the Black Panthers or anybody else, these liberal institutions were saying we have to let them speak, because if we don't protect the speech that we don't like, then we don't have free speech at all. Free speech is not to protect the speech that you like. It's to protect the speech that you hate.
And it's true.
Also known as hate speech.
You're now on Twitter.
It is.
I think there's sometimes a responsibility for the authority to crack down if like child porn goes up. Like the admin has to take that offline. That means there needs to be some central authority needs to snag that.
Well, it's illegal.
Sure.
Exactly. Yeah. And
yeah, that's what I mean. Nobody's disagreeing about that. You know, that's what Destiny's joke was before, is that we're all like, yeah, we don't want CP on the internet. But that's already illegal. You're already not allowed to do that. And if Twitter was treated as a platform, then Twitter would not be held responsible if there was something on their something like that on their platform. Obviously, there would need to be steps taken to remove it, but it would be on the person who posted it. Poop City says, funny how Destiny hates Elon and Twitter so much, but he is the reason he has the platform. He hates them so much, but he is the reason he has the platform. Oh, you mean from I mean, he really got his name on Twitch, but I get what you mean. Yep.
spam, it's not illegal, but it's unethical. So some central authorities got to crack it. But
that's what the block button is for.
But what's central authority when the FBI has been uploading a lot of the content as well, and they've been running international trafficking operations like with Epstein for over 30 plus years? How do you trust those same people to actually monitor?
Yeah, Luke Radowski's right. How do we have the FBI that protected Epstein now being the policeman of child porn? I mean, I really think it's all up to us.
Yeah, I think it doesn't scale. That's what I was going to say, is the central authority crackdown method doesn't scale to the masses like Twitter, because it's too big for one guy to take control, whether that's the government or the head of state. So I think you need to decentralize the authority somehow.
Oh, was he banned on Twitter? I didn't know that. Well, good call. Good call.
Now, as the system grows, and if that could be written into the system, the larger it gets, the wider the net of judges that can make the decision in aggregation.
Well, remember Elon Musk, like last week, that viral BBC clip, and he goes, okay, give me one example of what you're saying. He goes, well, it's a little bit mean, or it's a little bit sexist.
Did you guys see that clip? If you have not seen that clip that Alex Jones is talking about, put a 1 in the chat right now, because you have to see that. Elon is worker. Yeah, either way, it doesn't really matter, right? Sentiment is the same. Funny. So everybody has seen that clip with Elon Musk talking to the dude. 1. All right, Dan hasn't seen it. We gonna see it. All right, so let's do this. Elon, there we go. First thing. We just want the clip.
So let's get down to business, and we start with the exclusive interview that took place in San Francisco between Elon Musk and our technology correspondent, James Clayton. It is one of his first interviews since he bought Twitter for $44 billion. He defended his decision to lay off a massive number of staff, saying that Twitter only had 4 months to live unless drastic measures were taken.
Oh, I didn't see that.
These are rough numbers. Revenue dropped from 4.5 billion to 3, and expenses went from 4.5 to 6, creating a $3 billion negative cash flow situation, and Twitter having $1 billion in the bank. That's 4 months to live. So unless drastic action was taken immediately, this company is going to die and be owned by the banks.
Let's talk about that drastic action, because almost immediately you sacked a lot of Twitter workers. And I spoke to them. It was very easy to speak to them when it happened. And the way they said, pretty much everyone said, is that it felt quite haphazard.
It was.
And it felt a little bit uncaring. I
wouldn't say uncaring. The issue is like the company's either going to go bankrupt, or if we do not cut costs immediately, this is not a uncaring situation. It's like if the whole ship sinks, then nobody's got a job.
Exactly. One thing I also want you to pay attention to, if you remember when Elon was on Joe Rogan, he was speaking so slowly and deliberately. I don't know if it's because he had never really done those types of conversations before, but now when he does interviews, he's on it. He's on it, like this.
Right.
Yeah.
But a lot of people just lost their jobs like that. They weren't. They didn't even know they'd lost their jobs often. They were just frozen out of their accounts.
What would you do?
Well, you might want to give someone some notice. I mean, you might. By the way, I'm not running Twitter, but
I know. But
this is the criticism, and this is what staff members say. A little bit of notice.
No, I understand. If you have 4 months to live, 120 days. In 120 days, you're dead.
All right, you got 4 months to live.
So what do you want to do?
How much are you worth?
What?
Okay.
I don't know.
But we're talking about around the $200 billion mark. I mean, it's not quite. You're framing it in.
It's not like he has 200 billion in cash just sitting around. These are assets. These are companies. These are. Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
In a way that that it had a few months to live. You're quite a rich man.
I sold a lot of Tesla stock to close this deal. I did not want to sell the Tesla stock.
So, okay, that's not it. So he's just saying like, well, you have money, so why don't you just pay everybody for a dying company?
What?
He wouldn't be very rich if that's how he used his money. All right, let's see if they got the. I don't really want to hear from her.
The Twitter's not a private company anymore, so we don't really know how it's all going. Have all the advertisers come back?
Not all, but most.
So he's asking about since the advertisers left from him originally taking over and saying that he was going to be all free speech, have the advertisers come back? And he said not all but most.
And
you can see it for yourself on Twitter, even in the For You feed.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, in the following feed. Don't use For You because it sucks.
Right.
Filled with hate speech, I'm told.
MA, how long is that?
That's not what I said. Okay.
Well, why don't you use For You? What's wrong with it?
How is it going? Is Twitter in profit now?
No, Twitter is rough. I'd say we're roughly break even at this point.
So they're even with all the layoffs, they're only just roughly breaking even. But this guy's solution is, well, you just sell more of your stock in Tesla, your baby, to pay useless people who are doing nothing at Twitter.
What?
And I think you've said before you see a world where you could be in profit. Is there a timeline on that, do you think?
I mean, depending on how things go, if current trends continue, I think we could be profitable, or I'd say, to be more precise, we could be cash flow positive this quarter if things keep going well.
I want to get to
this quarter, as soon as that.
Possibly, yeah.
Wow. And do you have a message for the advertiser? I mean, can you say which advertisers haven't come back?
I think almost all of them have either come back or said they're going to come back. There are very few exceptions.
Can you say any of the exceptions?
I actually don't know of anyone who said definitively they're not coming back. They're all sort of trending towards coming back.
No, I didn't see that. Definitely, you know, if you're in the Discord or whatever, definitely let me know. Yeah, I did, Dan. Thank you. But Democratic Poop City. Speaking of Dan's post right there, if you want to post it there, you definitely can.
But there are some that just haven't.
Jump in. The water's warm. It's great.
I'm gonna skip through.
That's your message to the San Francisco.
You know, I was quit, so this hasn't been really a better candidate, you know, well, and positive advertising significantly, and we've taken a lot of recommendations. So good. So
Who joined us watching
Oh, come on. Let's see. Hold on.
Elon Musk has roasted the BBC in a 1-hour interview.
I mean, you know, just content that.
Okay, this is what we're looking
at. The clearly rattled organization attempted to corner Elon Musk, claiming there was a rise in hate speech incidents on Twitter. When Musk asked about specific incidents, the reporter had none.
Okay, this is what we're looking for.
Content you don't like or hate.
So the guy was saying there's just been more. He's seen more hate speech since Elon took over on the For You page.
What do you mean to describe a hateful thing?
Yeah, I mean, you know, just content that will solicit a reaction, something that may include something that is slightly racist or slightly sexist, those kinds of things.
So you think if something is slightly sexist, it should be banned?
No,
is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying anything. I'm saying.
We realize you're not saying anything, brother.
I'm curious. I'm trying to understand what you mean by hateful content, and I'm asking for specific examples. And you just said that if something is slightly sexist, that's hateful content. Does that mean that it should be banned?
Well, you've asked me whether my feed, whether it's got less or more. I'd say it's got slightly more.
That's why I'm asking for examples. Can you name one example?
I honestly don't. Honestly, I
you
don't.
Can't name a single example.
I'll tell you.
So he's trying to say there's more hateful content on my For You page. And Elon's like, okay, what are you talking about? Something that's, it's like, well, something that's slightly sexual or something slightly misogynistic, slightly sexist. And he's saying, okay, does that mean that should be banned? And he's like, no. And he's like, what are you talking about?
Why? Because I don't actually use that For You feed anymore because I just don't particularly like it.
You said
actually, a lot of people are quite similar. I only look at
hang on a
my
second. You said you've seen more hateful content, but you can't name a single example, not even one.
I'm not sure I've used that feed for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And
then how did you see the hateful content?
Because I've been using Twitter since you've taken it over for the last 6 months.
Okay, so then you must have at some point seen the For You hateful content. I'm asking for one example.
Right.
And you can't give a single one.
And I'm saying.
I say, sir, that you don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
Yes, because you can't give me a single example of hateful content, not even one tweet. And yet you claimed that the hateful content was high.
Well,
that's false.
No, what I claimed.
You just lied.
What I claimed was there are many organizations that say that that kind of information is on the rise. Now, whether it has on my feed or not. I mean, right, and
literally
if you look at something like the Strategic Dialogue Institute in the UK, they will say that. So
look, people will say all sorts of nonsense. I'm literally asking for a single example. And
yeah, I mean, it's completely right here. Nothing's going to change, and I mean, I don't want to say that that's fine, but as long as it's a single snowflakes make the heap. So as long as this happens more and more and more and more, the BBC may not change, but in the same way that CNN used to be the top trusted news source in America. And now they're not. That's what will change the discourse, is people understanding where these people are coming from. So this is almost done. Let's finish this up and get back to Alex Jones.
Right. And as I've already said, I don't use that feed. But
then how would you know that?
I don't think this is getting anywhere.
You literally said you experienced more hateful content and then couldn't name a single example.
Right. And as I said,
that's absurd.
I haven't actually looked at that feed.
Then how would you know there's hateful content?
Because I'm saying that's what I saw a few weeks ago. I can't give you an exact example. Let's move on. We only have a certain amount of time.
So that's basically, what I wanted to show. But yeah, that's what they were talking about when they were saying what Alex Jones is talking about here. So let's back that up.
Remember Elon Musk, like last week, that viral BBC clip? And he goes, okay, give me one example of what you're seeing. He goes, well, it's a little bit mean or it's a little bit sexist. And he said, well, then how do you define what a little bit is? Soon everything is banned except what you want to be heard. I mean, it's impossible. And here's the thing.
I agree with you. I'm 100. I mean, pretty much 100% on this. Politically homeless or libertarian defector. I'm a little bit more happy with the direction that the Libertarian Party has been taking since the Mises Caucus has taken over. But yeah, I mean, Elon is not. I don't either cheer for Elon. I mean, I don't have a. Like, I don't understand why people feel like you have to say, I'm all for Elon or I hate Elon. There's a lot of things that Elon does that I like, and there's a lot of things that Elon does that I don't like, just like anybody else. Definitely good for the memes, though. Democrat Poop City says, first, let's ask the real question. Are Indians considered Asians or Indians? Indians. Asian means that. I'm also Asian, so we can, I can do that. But
we all know this. You all know this. I remember Joe Rogan in like 2000 in Houston, and I'm watching him at a packed comedy club, and he said, mark my words, within 10 years, Hollywood and corporate media are going to be dead because on the internet, there's so many voices, so many choices. It can never compete with that level of Wild West freedom. And if you go back to 2010 and the numbers, that's really when corporate media died. That's really when Hollywood died. It's got endless funding and backers, but it's a zombie organization. It's already gone. So any attempt to bring in AI, any attempt to suppress us, any attempt to shut down their competition is like a ghost dance. They're fighting a war they've already lost. So let's understand that. No amount of AI, no amount of BS is going to stop us because AI is just plagiarism of everything we already made. So we program the AI ourselves.
That's interesting.
So when the viewers and listeners of this show realize you're not the tail, you're the dog, and then when you produce culture and you speak up, that's your defense mechanism to make sure you program the system.
Steven,
Alex Jones.
Steven, do you think Alex should be let back on Twitter?
He has to say yes here. Come on, bro. You can't possibly say no. You have to understand, reading the room, all of that kind of stuff. You have to say yes. So before we hear his answer, I missed a couple comments here. Anything? Oh, we're talking about the Dalai Lama. Yeah, I don't want to bring that up at all. That was creepy. Did I do a video on that? I may have done a video on that. Actually, I don't think I did a video on that. But, yeah, not going there. So, excuse me. The question is, should Alex Jones be back on Twitter in the opinion of Destiny?
I don't want to be let back on Twitter. I like being the black sheep.
What was his specific ban for? Was it for the
that's a very important point you brought up. I was not banned for the thing everybody hears about me for.
Which is, was it Sandy Hook? Yeah, where he was saying that Sandy Hook was, according to him, all crisis actors.
I was banned for criticizing Oliver Darcy, the mini-me Brian Stelter. And it was actually Tim Pool who was on with Joe Rogan and the head of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, and I can pronounce
Vijay Gotti.
Yes. And they said he beat up a child on TV, and he was mean to a journalist, Oliver Darcy, and he called for using battle weapons against Antifa.
So Kelly Green is saying absolutely he should. He should be allowed back on Twitter. He should just make sure that he doesn't make crazy people go to dead kids' graves. Yeah. I mean, that would be probably some good advice. But absolutely, he should be allowed to say those crazy things because, if he doesn't say it on Twitter, he's just going to say it somewhere else. He's just going to say it somewhere else where he has a more captivating audience, an audience that is more in line with he has to be right because he got banned. Doesn't help. Yeah. That was rough.
None of that ever happened. They showed some random dude on ABC News when a kid's hitting him, and he in Missouri, and the guy looks a little like me, and another fat dude with a beard. He hits him, and he falls down, and that's not me. That was, talk about deep fake. It wasn't even a fake video. It wasn't me. And then I saw Oliver Darcy was everywhere getting me banned. I was still on Twitter, and I said, how dare you get me banned everywhere, man? You're a jerk. The video's out there still. It's banned on Twitter. And then the other thing was... yeah, I'm Bill Hicks. No, it's because they got to ban Bill Hicks. But the third thing was Antifa had gone to Tucker Carlson's house and broken the door down, was threatening his wife.
This is why I wanted to wait on this. Before, from, I don't have the, at 8:54, that was about 20 minutes ago. Alex's booming Bill Hicks voice easily mutes Destiny's smug face-paced jive talk. Bill Hicks, you called it, brother. You called it.
And I said, I won't ever want to be violent and never physically start an altercation. Like Obi-Wan Kenobi says, the force is for defense, never attack. But I said, I've got an instant access safe in my bedroom with a battle rifle, a shotgun, and a handgun. And if Antifa attacks my house, is burning my house down and trying to shoot me, I'm going to go out and defend myself. So I said, never attack Antifa. But defend yourself. Well, they didn't.
Hey, we got David Banner in the building. Welcome to the party. Said Alex Jones animorphs back into a bulldog every night before he goes to bed. I would not be surprised.
Never showed the clip whenever, all the shows put it on as a national news story. They just said Jones called for killing leftists with battle rifles. A $1 million challenge. Where did I say kill leftists with battle rifles? Never happened. Where did I beat up an 8-year-old in Missouri? Never happened. So that's all they've got. And then we've now learned, this isn't about me, but it's very interesting. Very interesting. They introduced.
Listen to the way he can captivate an audience. Listen to the way people were chatting and getting riled up. And all he did was stop. This is the stuff that it's so crazy. Listen to this again.
8-year-old in Missouri, never happened.
Listen to how he's not quite yelling. I mean, we've heard Alex Jones yelling, but he's, using that booming voice. And listen to how he commands that attention.
So that's all they've got. And then we've now learned, this isn't about me, but it's very interesting. Very interesting.
Pause. And everybody stops. Everybody stops.
Then we've now learned, this isn't about me, but it's very interesting. Very interesting. They introduced in court with my $1.5 billion judgment against me, defaulted by the judge, and allowed to defend myself, already guilty. They entered in court 24 minutes of video, most of it from 9 years ago, of stuff that was edited clips out of context of me just saying the internet says this, what's going on? That turns into I'm pissing on people's graves, I'm doing all these things I never did. And when they sued me and didn't get any evidence, they defaulted me and then said the new model. And they're now doing that with Fox News and the Dominion lawsuit. And if you don't like Fox News, the judge says, you're not giving me the right evidence, I'm going to default you.
So before he goes on with that, I mean, he's ranting. I'm trying to find spaces to Kevin to get to this stuff. Democratic Poop City said, did you get to react to the Nick Fuentes podcast with just Pearly Things? She said she would be re-uploading it today on Rumble. Might be cool to react to. The thing is, I didn't really touch that. Because here's the thing. Weeks before that, we covered Just Pearly Things a bunch on this channel. And, just as we were kind of leaving that, like, oh, okay, I guess like the red pill content creators in general, we kind of got it. We got what we need from them, and now they're just, recycling all that stuff. And then the Nick Fuentes thing happened. When somebody, it was Just Talk About It, another awesome YouTuber, definitely go check out her channel. Just Talk About It was in the Discord saying, oh, did you hear about Just Pearly Things racist rant or racist this, that, whatever? And I didn't, but I was like, I knew. Then she was like, yeah, Nick Fuentes was on. And I was like, I know exactly what happened. And without even watching it, I can tell that obviously Nick Fuentes would be going on saying his thing. And she's like, yeah. Oh, that sounds familiar. Yeah. And so my position was that, she's just a basic bitch. She's just a basic bitch. Like, yes, it is horrible what she said, but especially not being a black person. To come out and not just completely rail against her, it would seem like I was on her side. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to touch that one. I'm not going to touch that one. We've already left Pearly in the past. Yeah, no freedom saying she's so boring. And that's kind of why. We're like, all she does is restate the red pill talking points that we've known for forever. And just because she's, the rest in peace, Kevin Samuels, and just because Fresh and Fit is kind of getting formulaic, she had a different type of panel where you get girls yelling and saying that, oh, you need to take accountability, and oh, you want to go to that whole thing. So we just kind of step back. And I'm glad we did, because that is not that's not really useful in my opinion. Like on this channel, I try not to be I'm not a newscaster. I'm not here to bring you the news. Like, it's awesome that we have this video, which has happened yesterday. Was it yesterday? or whatever over the weekend. And so it's relevant. But I'm not here. I'm not a newsman. I'm not trying to breaking news. This thing happened. Now I want to take conversations about what is happening in the world, specifically America, and talk about why those conversations are important. Then we break down those conversations and talk about what is actually happening in here, and why does discourse continue to fail and fail worse and worse and worse. And all these things that I'm pointing out to you guys is what I want you to understand that is the cause. And it really breaks down to two things. And in the comments, before I even finish saying it, they're going to tell you the two things that have caused political discourse and discourse in general to fall by the wayside are, number one, semantic obfuscation, the practice of taking words and changing their meanings around and giving them this amorphous, ephemeral type of meaning that you can kind of mold and squeeze in whatever way you want to win an argument. Semantic obfuscation. When they say anything is racist or anything is transphobic or you're a turd, or any of all these buzzwords that they kind of don't really mean anything. And it happens on both sides, but I feel like it's way worse on the left. The second thing is dogmatic thinking. And both sides of the aisle are guilty of this, of just taking, this is what we believe, and there is no way that anything could be wrong about it. We can't have a conversation about it. On the right, it's religion. On the left, it's the woke orthodoxy. So that's really what we do here, and that's why I'm just I didn't really want to cover what's her face, just pearly things. Yeah, she's just boring. She's been boring and vanilla. I watched the trial with AJ. Who's AJ? AJ. Oh, Alex Jones. There we go. What? Or no, I shouldn't. Stupid. I watched the trial with Alex Jones. It was crazy. They default guilted him as guilty. Really? I mean, it's not surprising. Are you talking to me? My pick? I'm gonna assume you're talking to somebody else. David Banner, why even associate with the roach like Fuentes? For the clicks. For the clicks. It's all about attention. It's all about being edgy. It's all about all of that stuff. And oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Dan Jensen coming in clutch once again. Marty's been waiting and he is so happy. Say thank you to Dan. Yay! Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much. Feed the dog. Yes, sir. Done. Thank you. Before we go on, let's see if I missed anything else like that. Yeah. So associating with Fuentes just for the clicks. Poop City says, no. The black co-host also said he wasn't racist, but really, it's a different podcast. I would actually say it's worth watching off stream. Okay, maybe I'll take the time. Thank you. Not really about the red pill, and yeah, so maybe I'll take a look. Now, Freedom says idiots don't do their research and only learn some secondhand information, or maybe just look up one article and think they know everything. Looking at a few people here on this one. Talking about me? You talking shit? Well, hey, that's up to you guys. I mean, Dan's the only one feeding them here. No, I'm just kidding. But thank you so much. No comment, no question, just pure love of the game.
So you don't get a trial, you're guilty now. A jury decides how guilty you are. That's the weaponization of the judiciary. So then when Hillary lost and Trump was about to win, they had a PR firm. They've now bragged about it. I didn't know this live for the cases. They hired a PR firm that does the UN PR. It's like the second biggest PR firm in the U.S. to run all these national stories everywhere about Jones is attacking people. He's peeing on graves. He's going after people. And I'm like, no, I'm not. It's like Joe Rogan when they go, he said the N-word. He's like, stop saying it, because they edit it all together. And I kind of did say some of that, but not most of this. And I
put another $1 in the Alex Jones was right jar.
I didn't know what was going on. And then they defaulted me. Then they did that. Then they wanted $2 trillion. Oh, you only get $1.5 billion. I don't have $5 million. So I learned how the whole thing.
See, this is why we need Michael Malice here, because Alex Jones will just go and go and go and go and go. I don't even remember what we're talking about anymore. Don't get me wrong. I am thoroughly entertained but I don't remember what we're talking about.
It was not about me. It was about demonize free speech, demonize a populist. And when people don't stand up for Alex Jones, then all the dominoes fall. So I don't.
When people don't stand up for Alex Jones, all the dominoes fall. Alex Jones is the linchpin in the culture war. Alex Jones is the one that we must stand and protect.
I feel sorry for myself. I feel like I'm caught up in a really historical point. I don't have the incredible organization and focus and purity of a Julian Assange, who I find no sin with, who I think did basically a perfect job. If he's free Julian Assange. He's a great guy. 8-9 years in solitary confinement, almost dead. So anytime I feel sorry for myself that made a lot of mistakes, would go crazy on air and get drunk on air and, take mushrooms on air. And I'm like, God, I didn't say some crazy stuff.
Elon actually gave Fuentes his Twitter back and banned him 24 hours later, a while back. Well, Fuentes going Fuentes. Yeah, I mean.
It was not done to be mean. I look back on all that. I just say, I'm lucky this machine only did this to me. Didn't use CIA sex operatives, didn't set me up, and didn't literally put me in a solitary confinement cell for 9 years. So.
Facts. They could just, if they wanted, they could find a reason to take them down to Guantanamo Bay, and when they do down there, if you've if you've seen Zero Dark 30, that gets a little peek into what goes down there.
I'm not a victim. Julian Assange is, and he's who we should be getting out of jail. And that's one of Trump's biggest faults. Is he told Julian Assange in 2016, he said, Julian, if you've got the evidence of Hillary, I want you to release it. Release it now. And then he releases it, and they throw him under the prison. So at the end of the day, fuck Donald Trump for that. You know what I mean?
Fuck Donald Trump for that. Edward Snowden and Julian Assange should have been pardoned. Those are two of the biggest things that will allow me to happily continue to say fuck Trump at any junction that I can. Democratic Poop City says Twitter got a list from the ADL of 5 people Elon can't let back on Twitter. Alex and Fuentes were 2.
Haram!
Free speech, man. Free speech, man.
What I understand about the Twitter banning of you, Alex, is that you got banned for one reason, which was the stuff you were talking about. And then now Elon just doesn't want to let you on because he thinks that you were mean about the kids with the Sandy Hook crap.
No, I agree with Elon Musk. I should not be let back on Twitter.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. But he just said, if we don't stand up for Alex Jones, all the dominoes fall.
Really? You think?
No, I'm dead serious.
But I don't like that one guy can have arbitrary authority. Like, I just feel like I don't like the way he's.
Well, no. What you're saying is totally true, but let me explain the 3D chess. No, I mean, that's
3D chess from Elon Musk. Let's hear it.
Elon says, I will not arbitrarily ban people. I will follow the law and the rules. Then he says, Alex Jones attacks dead kids, and Jesus said, if you do that, you should tie a millstone around your neck and be thrown in the ocean. So he's being hypocritical on his statement of him not making personal decisions. What he said there was a lie. But let's explain.
So it's all predicated on a lie, but that's a good thing in the eyes of Alex Jones for reasons.
It's a battery. When they ran tens of thousands, and that's conservative, of articles, thousands of national newscasts about what they said I did to kids that I didn't do. People don't know who Anna Blands is. They think I killed him, okay? I mean, literally, you think that name, I won't even say the name, they think me. So they've charged up this giant battery against free speech that's Alex Jones. He's freeing all the captives. He's doing great things at Twitter, changing the whole paradigm. I have to only salute him. If I was Elon Musk, I wouldn't go as far as actually thrown in the ocean with a millstone around my neck, but that was a little too far. I shouldn't be killed. Please don't call people to kill me. But
all right, at least he sounds like he's got a solid point here, and he sounds like he's. Oh, Alex Jones. He's like, all right, at least I don't want to be killed.
I understand that if he did that, they would have been able to shut down Twitter, overthrow what he did, and stop the revolution. So when they said everybody could go like, free him, free him, free him, he goes, no, he's the sacrificial lamb. So it's almost like the Dark Knight. I get it because of all that demonization and that investment that I'm the devil. He goes, great, everybody else is free but him. We're going to crucify him. I compare myself to Christ. But I'm saying I get it. And so Elon Musk, never unban me. I love being the black sheep, but I get it. Free everybody else and just say, hey, I freed all them, but I kept that son of a bitch locked up. If everybody else gets free, we're going to win. And I think if he'd have done that, they'd have taken over Twitter. So Elon Musk made the right move.
That's an amazing thing that we have to really think about Alex Jones and what does he care about? What does he want? And you know, what drives him? Him saying that he doesn't want to be unbanned because he can't be trusted and that it makes sense for him to be the sacrificial lamb so that he can be in the position to say, oh, you know, I'm doing all this while still upkeeping that level of moderation, let's call it, that that will keep, you know, especially the normies who are not like, oh, free speech, that don't want to see hateful content or whatever. It will keep them at bay. So very interesting. Very interesting.
Destiny, wait. Hold on, Ian. So Destiny, reinstate Alex or no?
Should he unban Alex or no?
Yes.
Well, the reason why I asked was I don't know what he was originally banned for. That's what I'm curious. I don't know why.
That was the original question. Yeah.
Elon Musk hasn't unbanned
Oliver
you.
Darcy.
Well, I don't know. I have no
No, listen.
idea
He thinks
how
it
much
was
of that is true or
for.
not.
He thinks it was for that shooting in Connecticut. But I'm telling you, these guys are smart news guys. Tell them, look, it was for the things I said. I mean,
Here's my question. Because I know we have a lot of Elon fans up here. Do you think that Elon Musk is running Twitter to try to make money, or do you think he has a principled adherence to freedom of speech?
Why can't both of those things be true at the same time? Why can't both of those things be true? Do any of you work a job that you really love and also they pay you? What is so different about Elon Musk that he wouldn't be able to do both? And in fact, because he has so much money, it makes a lot more sense that he wouldn't have to do anything he doesn't want to do. So all of the things that he does to make money, it makes sense that he would want to do them and have this principled adherence that he's talking about. David Banner says, I appreciate how Alex Jones crams a couple paragraphs into the amount of time that would take everyone else to say a sentence. Me too. Me too. I love people when they speak fast, and I hate when people speak slow. So between Destiny, Alex going here, usually I would want to speed this up, but it's doing me just fine with the two of them.
I think Elon Musk is really smart. I'm really impressed. I get more impressed every day.
Remember, the question was, is it for some principled adherence, or is he trying to make money?
He knows money is a symbol of energy like gas in your gas tank. You don't worship the gas tank, but you worship the sunrises and the forest and the blue skies and the sunsets you see when you're in your car or when you pick your kids up at school. So
Based. Wow. I don't even have it. Just listen to that again. That was brilliant. Listen to this again. This is his way. So what he's saying is how Elon Musk looks at money. And he uses an analogy I've never even heard before, but is brilliant.
I get more impressed every day. He knows money is a symbol of energy like gas in your gas tank.
So money is a symbol of energy like gas in your gas tank.
You don't worship the gas tank, but you worship the sunrises and the forest and the blue skies and the sunsets you see when you're in your car.
You worship all of the things, the experiences that you get, that gas allows you to have. Mind blown. That is brilliant.
Or when you pick your kids up at school. So I worship that mobility. And so to him, he wants it to be successful so he can do SpaceX and all the other amazing things he's doing. And so it's both. It's not exclusive to one.
What did I say? Why can't it be both?
You want to be successful with money so you have the freedom. But definitely, he's hitting on all cylinders now where he said something everybody should agree with. Everybody knows that the majority of people have agreed now, and I think they're right, the circumcision is wrong. No, seriously, let me just.
I don't. This is a great way to attack the trans issue. Talking about circumcision. because that is a form of child genital mutilation that is just accepted. That is, I'm interested to see where he takes this, because that is a good way to enter the chat, so to speak, and at a place where we should all be like, yeah, we know by now that there's no reason to be chopping off baby dicks, and there's certainly no reason for rabbis to be sucking on them. If you don't know about that, Google a bris.
The circumcision is wrong. You're no, seriously. No.
And everybody laughs. Why does everybody laugh?
Let me just say this: your newborn son does not have a say whether part of his pecker is going to be cut off. Okay. Now, look, I'm circumcised, and I remember my son. My son is.
Now we all know. If you didn't know, now you know. Alex Jones is in fact circumcised.
My son is 20 years old. And I remember the female doctor came to me and she said, "Do you really want to do this?" And she said, "We'll do it, but we don't agree with it. He should make the choice." And just out of tradition, I said, "Cut the end of his dick off." Now, that was wrong. That was wrong. But the point is, I'm being honest about what I did. In hindsight, callers called me over the years and said, "This is wrong." Okay, we know in some of the crazier Islamic countries, they cut the clitoris off little girls. I think we agree that's wrong, right?
No laugh. No laugh. No laugh at all. You bring up circumcision. Oh, that's a big joke. Mutilating little boys is a joke. But you bring up that same exact procedure on girls and listen to the uproar of laughter. The uproar that occurs. Oh, come on. We're doing so good. We're doing so good.
Site callers called me over the years and said, "This is wrong." Okay, we know in some of the crazier Islamic countries, they cut the clitoris off little girls.
Any laughter?
I think we agree that's wrong.
No laughter. I do think we agree that that's wrong.
Right? Does the little girl, okay, but a 5-year-old or 10-year-old kid does not have the ability to make a decision whether they want to be sterilized. It's the same thing. And so Elon Musk came out Friday and said, anybody that sterilizes or cuts the testicles or breast off a girl or boy before they're 17 goes to prison. When you're 17, 18, you want to have that, you want to be something else, it's just like a breast job. You want to be somebody else, more power to you.
What's wrong? What is bigoted? What is anything wrong with that statement? What is wrong with that position? I am always open to change my mind. You guys know I have a tattoo that says believe nothing except that anything is possible. So it is possible that what I just listened to is a horrible, 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 horrible position to have. I'm willing to believe that. But I need to hear it. Why is that not a good position? If somebody can't tell me that, then I'm going to keep that position.
Okay? You want to have horns put on your head. But that's when Elon came out on that Friday, and I'm full Elon now, because that is the transhumanist system, is to get us to accept that against children. And once we accept that against children, look, circumcision is wrong, but let's cut their whole thing off. Come on, guys. That's what I'm trying to say here.
That's what I was trying to say, is that this is a great way to enter the chat. That's a great way to start the conversation. But we agree that child genital mutilation is wrong, right? And to come from the girl side. Okay. So is it wrong when we do it to boys? Well, I mean, that's kind of tradition. Okay. So then, and you keep moving it, and seeing where and why have you drawn a line that it's okay to chop little boys' genitals for this specific reason, when they're way younger than what we're talking about in the trans discussion. But it's not okay. It's not okay to do it to little girls. So there's something there. There's something there that everybody agrees that the I forget what they call they just call it female circumcision. But we all agree that that's wrong. How is that any different than trans children?
When Elon passed that third rail and did that, I'm fully behind what he's doing.
What do you think of the Missouri law, the new Missouri law that says even adults have to wait 18 months?
It's 3 years.
Is it 3 years?
I'm not in favor of that. I mean, I think that I don't think that it should be a set amount of time. It should be a process. If that process is something that takes 6 years, then let it take 6 years. It's the process that matters. It's not about waiting a certain amount of time.
3 years for medical that adults have to wait for medical intervention.
No, I don't think adults should have to. I'm against that law.
You're against that law?
No, I mean, listen, I don't.
Adults can do whatever they want. Adults should be able to do whatever they want as long as they are not hurting another person or their property. Now, good luck finding a doctor. You know, if we actually change the culture, good luck finding a doctor who will actually do that. But right now, they're all over the place.
People who went through transition and then came out the other side, who said, as adults, who said this would have really saved me and I would not be missing my dick right now.
No, I understand. They got brainwashed and they got put into that. And so they want a waiting period. But it becomes the other danger if as an adult you're 18, your family should protect. I mean, I see both arguments.
What about like a waiting period for adult women who determine they don't want to have children and they want to have hysterectomies? Because it's very difficult for adult women to get a hysterectomy voluntarily.
Yeah, I'm against that too. If you want to get a hysterectomy, go for it. Go for it. Maybe if the reason they want this waiting period is because of the weight of the decision. But you can't say that somebody has not considered the weight of their decision. That is why we want adults to be able to do whatever they want, barring hurting other people or property. The reason that's there is to make sure that that's what they want. So instead of having a waiting period, all that's going to do is get somebody set in their mind that, okay, I want to do this, so I just have to wait. Then they're more likely to play a character because they know in that time period, everybody's looking to see, are you sure? 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 Whereas if it's a process, then it might be a longer period of time, but it will be the correct choice. It will be the correct choice. Democrat Poop City says, should it be made legal that you have to show the risks, downsides, long-term effects, and counterpoints? Absolutely. Absolutely. That should be part of it. That absolutely it should be what is shown to everybody. And like you said, a lot are just convinced by TikToks. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you would think, especially when we're talking about doctors, PhD, medical doctors, that whether their ideology aligns with wanting people to be able to transition if they want, that they should still want to be able to show the risk, downsides, and long-term effects. What happened to the Hippocratic Oath? Hey, we got Kerm in the building. What is good? What is good? Welcome to the party. Said I saw the original video pop up in my feed at 2:30 and I swore it was a fever dream. Nobody, you are here. It is real. Welcome to the party. TED Talk is bullshit? Okay.
No, I think a woman, listen, I don't like assisted suicide. I don't like suicide. But I agree with your right to kill yourself. I don't want the government.
The government's help. Because
what I'm saying is I don't want the government to pay for it.
Hey, we got Jake List in the building. What is good? What is good? Welcome to the party, brother. Shout out to me. Shout out to you. And real quick, while I got everybody here, I got one more little favor to ask you. One tiny little favor to ask you. If you could just, I promise, I know I hate this stuff, but over half of you are not subscribed to the channel. I know you're loving it because you keep on coming back. So please just hit that button and we'll give an extra treat for Morty just for subscribing. See, I'm not even watching. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. Please hit that button. Let's go.
I don't want the government to push it. I don't want the government involved in it. But if you want to go back on your back of your house and blow your head off, that's your business. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing. If a woman, or maybe a woman has their whole family has breast cancer, she says, I don't want to die of cancer. No, I think as adults.
Shout out to Jay. Thank you. We're going to give him a treat for that. You know, every super chat comes with a treat for Morty, and he is dying for more treats, but a subscribe is just as good. Thank you so much.
We should be able to do anything we want to ourselves as long as the state doesn't pay for it, meaning I pay for it. At the end of the day, I'm a libertarian when it comes to personal issues, but I think you really have to come of age. I think that's 17 or 18. You can't join the military. You can't buy guns. You can't buy liquor, because everybody knows we do dumb shit when we're kids. We need people to protect us. Once you're an adult, what good decisions, bad decisions, I think you should be able to make them.
Facts. And I mean, I was making dumb decisions way into my 20s. I would say there's times I'm at 33, I still make dumb decisions. But at least I understand that I am responsible for those things. And I have the capability, at least, to understand the weight of my decisions. As a child, you just don't have those capabilities. Your mind just doesn't work like that. This isn't, bigoted. This isn't transphobic. It's just trying to protect children. That is all.
I've got a theory about how to ethically deal with this Alex Jones ban on Twitter. So what would happen is, I like your 3D chess analogy. If Elon were to unban you, he would basically absorb all the hatred that people have on you right now into him. And that would be too much for him, and it could destroy the platform. But if the community provided enough pressure, and there were enough people that forced him to do it, and it gave him essentially no choice because there was such a loud noise, the hatred would absolve into the community, and it would be diffused among many, many, many people to the point of confusion where it wouldn't really affect anything.
Bruno says, my mind worked better as a child. That actually makes a lot of sense, brother. I don't know what happened. Maybe you're dropped, but that makes a lot of sense. Just kidding.
Kind of curious for you guys, because I asked earlier, do you think that Elon is principally concerned with freedom of speech or making money? And we kind of got an answer of both, but I think at some point you have to choose between one or the other.
Do you though? Do you though? Again, how many of you are working a job where you do it because it's how you pay your bills and feed your family or whatever, but also you really care about that thing? There's a lot of people doing it right now. I don't understand why it's so difficult for him to think. And then this is the same person. This is the same person that if you talk about like UBI or giving everybody money, that, oh, if we just automate everything, then, people will want to go and pick up garbage because they get bored with life and they really want to feel, fulfilled and all that bullshit. No. You can have two reasons. Two things can be true at the same time. He's coming back to this as if, well, at some point, you have to choose between one or the other. Maybe there are individual decisions where you have to look at, is this in the financial interest of the company, as a CEO is supposed to do? And that may not align with your idealistic position. But that's not really anything.
And recently, you had Elon trying to shut down, or at least put a warning to, Substack links. I believe Tate and I think other journalists completely left Twitter, completely over it, and now they exclusively post on Substack. So how do you feel about Elon's decision to, I guess, try to inhibit people from visiting competitor websites?
Is that a question for me?
Or anybody, yeah.
Go ahead. I've been hogging the time here. I'll just say briefly, Substack was basically empowered by Twitter. I love Substack, and I think that what Elon is doing is not about a free speech issue, but that they are a Twitter competitor, and that Twitter is basically hanging on this revolution. So I think by him blocking that, he's doing something to save the platform. That doesn't mean I agree with it. I don't think it's being done as an anti-free speech movement. It's being done kind of like Yahoo was blocking YouTube when it first launched, 16, 17, 18 years ago.
This is anti-freedom of speech to protect your
but
pockets.
He also said that he wasn't actually blocking. If you looked at the links, there was a warning.
The same thing with the New York Post story for Hunter Biden initially too, though, right? There was a warning when you clicked off.
That was pulled.
No.
Wait, what is he trying to compare to the laptop story? Wait.
This is anti-freedom of speech to protect your pockets.
He also said that he wasn't actually blocking. If you looked at the links, there was a warning.
The same thing with the New York Post story for Hunter Biden initially too, though, right? There was a warning when you clicked off.
That was pulled.
No.
I'm not defending the warning labels on the Substack links, but I am saying that it was a warning label. And in terms of if Musk is defending free speech on the platform or trying to make money, he won't be able to defend free speech if the platform doesn't make any money.
So now violations of freedom of speech are okay as long as it protects the pocket of the owner so that he continue to run the company.
I want to be clear.
No, Destiny is trying to say that if everything that you do that you say and do doesn't fall in line exactly with free speech, then you can't have this this reverence for free speech. And what Libby was just saying is that no, the point is that there has to be the platform in order for the free speech to get out there. So yes, at certain decision points, you may have to moderate to keep the platform going. That doesn't mean you want to arbitrarily do it just to make more money from advertisers. There's a difference between calling free speech to make sure that there is a free speech platform and calling free speech so that you get more money from advertisers. He's conflating the two, and they are not the same. Kerm says Elon has been infinitely better than the last guy with political bias and free speech, even if a lot of his takes are cringe. Facts. But at the end of the day, Elon will do what benefits Elon. Fact. Yeah, I think that's very true. But again, that doesn't make it the case that what's best for Elon isn't to have a bustling free speech platform. The more money that Twitter makes, the more money that Elon makes. The better Twitter is, the more money Twitter will make. The more free Twitter is, the more money Twitter will make. This is what capitalism is all about. That it doesn't have to be some virtuous whatever. The money will speak for itself. It works out better for us. It works out better for Elon if Twitter does better. So yes, it is about free speech. That doesn't mean we have unfettered free speech. This is the conflation that he's making. Like, oh, I thought you were for free speech. Come on, bro. You're smarter than that. You know better than that. But and yes, MA, you are pretty much spot on.
I
want to be clear. That's
I just clarified what the thing was that happened, and then said that I think he's defending free speech and trying to make money so he can continue to.
Sure. What if he says that I think we should?
But also, what Substack did was, weren't they like appropriating a bunch of the code and cloning?
They created a Twitter clone.
Yeah, they were cloning the community notes thing.
Yep. MA said the main efforts should be safeguarding against. Can I say that? Well, you can read it on Twitter and elsewhere. Moderating speech should be a low priority. Should be way down there. Absolutely. The money has not spoken for itself since we. Democrat Poop City says, I don't know. Elon spoke out against the one world government at their own convention to their face. Not sure if that's in his best interests. Based. So I don't know, Colonel, what you got to say to that? I don't think that it's, again, I don't think it has to be a straight, oh, he only cares about himself, or, oh, he only cares about free speech. It's not that simple. It's multifaceted, and he cares about both. That's it. In the same way that I care about my YouTube channel, and also I care about Morty, there might be certain points at, like, if he got sick or something during a stream. Yes, I would absolutely not do the stream to take care of Morty. That doesn't mean that I don't care about YouTube. That just means at certain points, the immediacy or the level of care that needs to be happening in a timely manner is not going to be the same for both. I can tell you guys, hey, something's going on. We're going to do an extra stream tomorrow. That has nothing to do with how much I do or do not care about YouTube. That's the argument that Destiny is trying to make about Twitter. And instead of Morty and YouTube, he's talking about free speech and money for Elon.
Destiny, is Elon in the room with us now? He's not. We're not here to make excuses for Elon. I think the Substack thing has two different sides to it.
Talk about the billionaire owner of one of the largest social media platforms.
We of course are. But you're directing questions like we're his spokespersons. We're not.
Well, you were all so eager to defend him a little bit ago, so I was just curious.
Yeah, because you're coming in with stupid arguments that don't make sense. This is the old meme of stop making me defend Trump. Stop making me defend Elon. Poop City says people just want to bully Elon into becoming a cyborg first so they can see if it's safe.
Listen, I agree with you. I have meant to address this because it just broke like 4 or 5 days ago. I've been trying to analyze it. I am not his apologist. In fact, the guy's banned me and said that I need to be murdered. But I got his PR because he's trying to counter what they were trying to use me against him. What I'm saying is that's a corporate decision and it is censorship against a competitor that's using their technology. I was simply saying I think that's wrong, and there's a lot of great Substack people, and he should stop it. And I believe he's created the Streisand effect. But the CIA and the Justice Department and these combines with the deep state working with all of big tech to censor everybody, that's the big threat, and Elon has broken away and is doing his own thing. So I don't agree with him, but he gets a little bit, not even of a grace period, but just a little bit of a time to see what he's going to do because he's broken with that. That's what I'm saying. But yes, I think he shouldn't have done that to Substack. I think they jumped the gun. I think that it's an issue. They're threatened by Substack. And, quite frankly, I hope.
So, I mean, it's a lot more complicated than, well, does he care about free speech or does he care about Twitter being, or does he care more about free speech or does he care more about himself? It's more complicated than that, brother.
Substack becomes bigger than Twitter. I hope there's 10 Twitters. That's all I'm saying.
So what we learned when Twitter open sourced their algorithm from the Substack stuff was that it actually isn't the production live algorithm because there was no Substack reference in GitHub. So they have some sort of link blacklist somewhere, which we don't know about. And they did say that we haven't seen all of the algorithm yet. And what we also learned from the algorithm is that all links are punished on Twitter.
I knew it. I wanted to test something the other day. I did a video, the first time I did a video that wasn't a reaction. And I just kind of wanted to speak on why I think the Bud Light boycott is a big deal and something that people should keep up and whatever. I'd love if you go check out the video. And I went through and it was doing well, but I was like, a lot of people are talking about this. So let me try and go onto Twitter. And, when people are talking about it, I'll be like, hey, this is, I agree with you or I disagree with you. Here's why. Check out my video. And it didn't really do much. And I knew because the links are pushed down in the algorithm because they want to keep you on Twitter.
And actually, most Facebook does this too. They all do it. They basically demote links because it pushes people off to other websites, which is stupid. And he shouldn't be intimidated by that. I mean, we saw just a few weeks after the acquisition was over that Twitter rolled out a policy which they rescinded, which was to block Facebook and Instagram and even Nostr, which is the decentralized protocol that we're using.
So that's it. So they've all done this to each other before.
Yeah, YouTube does this routinely. Like you can't when you outlink in the description on your YouTube channel, they demote your video in the algorithm. So why are we discussing and talking about Twitter when all these other social media platforms are also engaged in the same platform as well? And I think if we're talking about,
should I not be putting my links in the description? We're gonna test that out. We'll see if on what day is it? Whatever. And what is it? Monday? Is it Monday? On Wednesday. Well, I'm not gonna put any links in the description. We'll see if we get any new people.
Twitter, let's talk about YouTube doing it as well because I think they deserve criticism as well.
It's not about not criticizing Elon. It's not about not criticizing Elon, but what Luke just said is true. We're all focused on Twitter because they release the files. The other big tech does it even worse and more sophisticated. And I think that's what Luke's saying, but I think your question's reasonable.
Facebook ran psychological studies seeing how they could manipulate people's emotions through the algorithm.
Facebook did a thing. They wanted to see how much can they actually. Hi, moment, nothing yet. They wanted to see how much the algorithm and what they decide to show you can affect your mood and whatever. So they were purposely taking what the information that they have from you, and then purposely downranking anything that they thought that you would like, and upranking anything that you thought that you wouldn't like. And they did find, number one, that there was more engagement, because you are more likely to engage with something that makes you unhappy versus something that makes you happy. But then I don't know how they did this, but they measured the happiness levels before and after they did this. And Facebook made people depressed on purpose without their knowledge. That is psychological experimentation. That's not cool.
trying to make them outraged, trying to make them sad, trying to make them feel happy. They were able to do psychological studies. The things that Facebook does, they know when you're about to take a shit, all right? These motherfuckers are up your fucking ass with so much private metadata that we can't even imagine, we can't even fathom. And I think when we criticize big tech social media, yes, let's criticize Twitter. Twitter could do better. But I think there's a bigger elephant in the room, and that's all the collusion and all the actions that big tech has been acting on, particularly from one side of the aisle, and
That's
that
right.
side is the
It's the big
establishment.
globalist governmental combines controlling all of big tech, and then Twitter breaks away, and we go, Elon, you're exposing the censorship, but then you're protecting your platform, which I'm not even agreeing with that. I'm just saying that's a different animal what he's doing.
All right, just to have like a basic tech conversation, are we like opposed to tailored algorithms? Is this a bad thing, do we think? Or?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Hey, Dan Jensen out-sponsoring himself once again. Dan, thank you so much. Says, I'm off. See you later. Be safe out in the real world. Thank you again. Have a great night. I am so thankful to, I mean, you guys don't understand. Dan does not come through without blessing me. He does not come through without dropping a little something. And it's not much, but it really means so much to me. Dan, thank you. Thank you so much. And of course, before you go, do we have any more of the big ones? Yeah, we got a good one for you. Dance for it, dance for it, dance for it. Yeah. Thank you so much, Dan. You have a fantastic night, brother.
Don't. Obviously, individuals get to choose. I think at the end of the day, individuals should be able to choose, but private companies get to choose whatever algorithms they want. But when they're politically motivated, when they create echo chambers, when they create conversations
When
that
they
are
block
dominated,
other algorithms, I think it should all be open and free.
yeah, when they radicalize individuals that only hear their voice and not opposing viewpoints, and there's no actual logical debate, and you only hear one side talking shit about the other side and becoming more emotional and more enraged.
Sure. So
I think
once again, shout out to Dan Jensen. Thank you so much, brother.
I think there deserves to be a discussion about our ability to what we're curated and what we want to see, because at the end of the day, what we subscribe is what we should see.
And by the way, what Luke just said is the answer to everything. Go back to YouTube and Google and all of it. It's a parent company 20 years ago. They on purpose put us in groups and then put the most radical in there to push those groups to divide us and make us a new country. And I was part of that. I didn't know I was being used, but they were pushing me because they could take out of context a few things they liked that were radical or crazy. And so I didn't do it on purpose. So exactly what Luke just said, you can't ban algorithms, you can't ban that, but we should be aware of it.
Right.
But absolutely, they set up the algorithm that made the left wing so crazy, that made the right wing so crazy, that turned this country into what we are.
Absolutely. There was no, even Tim Pool himself will talk about all the time on the show how it's likely that despite the fact that they never get put on the trending page because of how many viewers they get, and sometimes you can search it out, you don't get notifications. I mean, nobody gets notifications on YouTube, but all of these different things, and they would expect that they would get a lot of the type of banning and stuff that like the Steven Crowder would get, but YouTube wants that that appearance of allowing dissenting voices. And I do believe that because they are aware of that, they're able to better navigate that and be that play that role of telling you the truth. But that's why they have the member segment and all that stuff. They say what they can say, exactly what we were just talking about with Elon. If you're not on YouTube, you're not going to bring people into the members group and into the member Discord to have those conversations. So you need to be able to say what you can say and then pull people in off of YouTube to have deeper and more important conversations.
Well, also, it's the algorithm on TikTok and Tumblr and all of these other things that contribute to the social contagion of trans among kids and teens.
Yep.
And I think that's a problem.
Yeah, so, okay.
I mean, does anybody disagree with that? Does anybody disagree with the fact that TikTok is maybe solely responsible for the social contagion aspect of the trans movement? You can't.
Like San Francisco, 40% of the kids are trans or whatever?
No, I don't think that's true.
I think it's something like...
Again, now we're going to go down that same road. Well, it's not that. The number's not that high. Not yet. But you are pushing this ideology. So even if it's at 2%, even if it's at 1%, even if it's at 0.5%, if you keep pushing this, It's going to get to 40%, which is what we don't want. Then what are you going to say? Oh, well, nobody told me this was going to happen. We did.
Like that.
Well, 40% of Republican discourse might be about trans people, but I don't think 40% of kids are trans.
No, there.
That was a good one. But again, why do you think that conservatives talk about the trans stuff so much? Because you're pushing it so hard. That's why. As an atheist, I am very much against religion being pushed on people at all, but specifically in a political context. But as much as you see religious rhetoric in political platforms on the right, it's not really being pushed like it was in the 90s. If I was on YouTube if there was YouTube, you know what I mean? If I was doing this in the 90s, I would be all over the GOP for how much they suck. They still suck. They haven't gotten any better. It's just that the left has gotten way, way, way worse. Way worse.
School districts where 40% of the kids say they are not.
There was a YouGov poll where Republicans think that 40% of the population is trans. I think that's what we're thinking of right now.
No, there are some school districts. I'll look it up.
I don't think that's true.
Some school districts where 40% of the kids, it's not trans. They think they're of the 100, 200, whatever it is things.
See, that makes more sense. And I trust Alex Jones over what Destiny is saying, because in a specific region or school or whatever the sample size was, it does make a lot of sense that 40% would identify as something other than their assigned gender. Kerm says, remember that one case where a teen somehow gained Tourette's after watching a TikToker? And bro, it's not one. I did a video about this. It's not one. It's not one. It's a whole thing. It's a whole trend of TikTokers just like coming up with these tics, as they call them. And a lot of them were the same thing. You would see 3 or 4 different girls being like, beans, beans, beans. As if that is, like, what are the chances? What are the chances that you actually, it's crazy. It's crazy. But you're absolutely right. It's not one case. But if it's going to happen for Tourette's, where you can just go, beans, beans, and get clicks, what happens when you get 100 times, 1,000 times that attention just by saying, oh, I'm non-binary? Grim said probably a bunch of white girls saying they're non-binary. Yep, it's mostly young white women and middle-aged white men. That is the majority, the overwhelming majority of the LGBT community. And I would say an even larger portion of the LGBTQIZ plus community that hasn't gone to the surgeries and probably even the hormones. It's the people that just want the social credit. That's it. Lefty Lucy says chemically castrating kids at any percentage is batshit crazy. That's what he's arguing. Well, we're chemically castrating not that many kids. All right, bro. If that's the hill you want to die on. Not yet, bro. But we gotta wait. Sit down. They'll help us out. Don't worry.
There was also the story that spread like wildfire that kids were getting kitty litter boxes in their school that came from like a Joe Rogan episode that was completely fake as well.
Fake story.
Completely fake.
But why has
it was a fake story, but why did it make sense to all of us? Because it's not really that much different than what they're actually saying.
There been a 4,000% increase in girls identifying as trans?
Yeah, there's no doubt this is. Are you denying that if you turn mainstream television on, you're just hammered? Like everybody hates a Coca-Cola ad or a Chevy ad or whatever you're being hammered with. You look at any mainstream culture, it's trans. I mean, Are we denying that?
I don't even know what we're talking about right now. Are we?
Oh, come on, bro. Come on. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? You know exactly what you're talking about. You brought up the subject.
Are we moving to trans issues now? I thought we were talking about social media and how to like moderate social media. Then we talked about algorithms. I think it's one interesting. I think.
Okay, the whole point, how we got here, if you listen, was that we were talking about social media and then the social contagion aspect. So now we're talking about trans numbers.
I think this is important, okay? Because I notice that when these panels happen, you guys never actually say anything. We move from crazy topic to crazy topic to crazy topic. I think that there's a I think there's a really fascinating and interesting discussion that can happen about algorithms. So for instance, you guys earlier were being critical that algorithms radicalize people. Well, is it the job of a social media platform to put content in front of you that you might not want to watch? If somebody watches a video by the Young Turks, are you saying that the next video that should be recommended should be like a Tucker Carlson video? Like, you guys throw a lot of criticisms out about these companies.
No,
you guys, you throw a lot of criticisms out about these companies, but then at the end of the day, you're not really like saying anything. Then we just move from like sensationalist topic to sensationalist topic, and now we're talking about 40% of the population is trans.
Okay, well then you need to you need to actually say something, because most of the people here seem to be in agreement about all of these things, so they're just opining. If you have something to say, then speak the fuck up. Say something. Kerm says, by the way, I'm pretty sure that a 4,000% increase in trans people was from the UK, not the US, but definitely concerning. Absolutely. Poop City says, and then the numbnuts can't remember 30 seconds before Destiny speaking, so they clamp like seals. Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, he's on our team, right? I think. What did he say? What did he say? Lisa said, is Destiny calling trans people a crazy subject? Got it. Called it.
But this is not that hard to understand. So don't make it sound like we're talking crazy here. This is pretty simple. If I, as the consumer, have an easier access to certain types of content because that content aligns with the political philosophies of the executive team of that platform, that's a problem. That is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So I do not have a fundamental issue with algorithms. For example, I think that as long as the consumer can choose to turn on or off those algorithms, that's okay. The problem is when I have recommended content based on political philosophy that I did not choose because the things that I agree with are being purposely suppressed. That's what I have a problem with.
Purposely suppressed. And we know, guys, this is not up for debate. We know that they do this. So I don't understand what he is trying to say. Everybody was kind of opining on why this is bad, and then he got mad that people were talking about it.
I understand what you're saying, but the issue is that for a long time, I don't even know if Twitter does it, they gave consumers an option. Do you want the tailored feed or do you want the chronological one? I believe when Elon bought Twitter, he brought back the chronological one. Nobody wants that. Consumers don't.
I do.
Want the ability to look. That's great if there's a few people in the audience.
How do you know that? What's the data?
Exactly. I mean, everybody that I heard said that I don't want the algorithm. I want everybody that I follow in reverse chronological order. That is what Twitter was supposed to be. That's what I wanted.
Proving that. What data is proving that? Because that was just rolled out, right? What? So how do we know that's true? Because I just want to ask you if you could clarify. How do we know people don't want that? Because
and remember, Destiny is the lefty academic. Well, the study says, and it doesn't matter if it's a shitty study. It doesn't matter if these people are paid by this, this think tank or that. The study says. So the study says.
I personally use it. I like it, and I haven't seen any data released highlighting that argument.
I said, shit, me too.
I mean, the data is that every company is moving in this direction because
every company.
That's not data, friend.
That
might be evidence, but it's not data.
Yes. You can talk about algorithms all day, but then there was the pre-programmed lie with government corporate disinformation on every channel the last 3 years. What I don't want, algorithms are one thing, but I don't want a force-fed corporate big lie put in all the tops of the feeds. That's the algorithm I don't want. It's not even an algorithm. It's we're going to force this down your throat.
I'm going to answer your question, Stephen. I think it's a good one. I think that private companies, if they spin up a social network, have the right to show you whatever algorithm they want. If they want to show you dog dicks all day, even when you search for women, even when you search for cartoons, they show you dog dicks. It's their company. They can do whatever they want. But when a company gets to the size of acting in the commons, it takes on another meaning. And
when it gets to the size that it's affecting the commons, it takes on another meaning. 20 from Ian.
And the code, at that point, I think they can still show you whatever they want, but that code needs to be free so I can spin up my own version of the site. And if people hate their algorithm, they're going to start using my awesome technology that's now publicly available.
Free the code!
And then it'll become
I agree. By the way, I love how your coat matches his hair.
Thank you so much. It'll become a marketplace of terms of service and a marketplace of algorithms instead of a marketplace of who owns the code.
A marketplace of algorithms instead of a marketplace of who owns the code. So if you have the code it's not that complicated. It's all text. It's a text feed. There's one running on YouTube itself, and there's one running in StreamYard right in front of my face while this is happening. It's not complicated to have this stuff, but they have the IP that when it gets to a certain level, yes, they can control it, but that is effectively a monopoly.
The sketchy thing that platforms do, specifically big tech, is they change the defaults. So people are put into the algorithms when, and what that does, which hurts creators, is that it takes away people's organic reach. So when they make the algorithms,
tell me about it. Tell me about it. When's the? I mean, I don't even know how a lot of you found me, because being a YouTuber, I realized that, like, hold on, I don't really remember very often seeing videos at all on any subject from a channel that has less than like 10, 20,000 subscribers. So the organic reach of, if somebody wants to watch my video, it's being pushed down because of the organic reach that I would get based on the people that would actually want it versus those who are seeking out specific types of things. It's going to be much lower. That's why we're going to blow up. Don't you worry. We're going to blow up, but it's just going to take a while. It's just going to take a while. Hey, we got indie film in the building. Welcome to the party. Says the free the code. Yeah, see, I mean, pushing everywhere. But we were also, I don't remember what I was doing on Twitter around that time. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely this place should be popping.
That's when.
Speaking of which, since my organic reach is so terrible, I have one little favor for you guys to ask. Please just take the URL, or even better, hit the share button. Just take that URL and plaster it everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Put it everywhere you can. Let's get this party popping.
And creator reach goes down drastically. You spend 10 years on Facebook to get 100,000 followers, and then suddenly you're only getting 3% reach because they decided to change the default.
And then the corporate media has an unfair advantage in that situation, which is absolutely unfair to independent media creators, which needs to be called out. It's all because of their algorithm. And when it comes to the algorithm, if it was free-flowing, if people were allowed to see what they wanted to see, I can make that understanding that, hey, maybe we could have a radicalization discussion then. But when it's curated, when it's manipulated, when we know that they could even control our emotions to the point of fine-tuning this, they could also run many kind of different operations, many different psyops, and they can mess with you.
Yep. When they know, which they do, that they control how we feel, and how we feel drives how we act, then they can just put out psychological operations and change how, en masse, how people are thinking.
So listen, I'm not a tech guy, but that's why every few days I delete my history just so I get the new stuff. Like, I'm not a tech guy. Is that what you do? You just delete the history?
I don't think it works like that.
And then you get the new
it's
stuff?
a little bit more sophisticated than that, but...
What about the guy?
Well, when I delete the history, I suddenly get new feeds. I do that on YouPorn.
You guys give it up for our...
Did you hear Ian? He's like, I do that on YouPorn.
Our panel and our special...
All right, let's go to Q&A.
That's amazing. I have to jump in here because we have so many people excited to talk to you guys and ask questions. We have like at least 12 people, maybe a baker's dozen of people in line. So you guys be very concise. No life stories. Just get to your questions.
All right, so Poop City says the algorithm on YouTube's recommendation page is actually so dog-ish, it shows me new channels like once a month. The rest are just content of people I watched last. Yeah, same thing. Same thing for me. And it's one thing to be like, oh, it would be nice to see. It would be nice to see some smaller channels just to see what people are doing. But in my position, like, I'm trying to find a network of people that I can talk to on stream. I want to bring you guys different conversations. I want to bring you guys different types of content. But I don't know any other, 2,000 subscriber YouTubers except for like TSP and Dr. Evil Genius. Darshan, there's a few, but I know them from other places. I don't know them from just finding them. And when I do find a channel that has a lower subscriber count, because I know that myself having a lower subscriber count, I'm not going to be able to necessarily connect with somebody who has 200,000 subscribers. So I want to find somebody who's got 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 subscribers so that maybe they'll talk to me. Not just to, get the rub, but so that I can bring that to you guys. I want to bring you more than what I can right now. So, the only way is for us to grow. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please, please, please. Kerm says, can't wait for the Alex Jones orbiter arc. That'll be interesting. That'll be interesting. Anything else here? Or even who said, or even just other opinions from other creators on topics I have watched before. But no, they just want echo chambers. Fortunately, that's the uphill battle that we're all of us content creators are fighting.
So we can try and get everybody and speak closer to the microphone than you think you have to.
You got it. Okay. So going back to the beginning of the conversation, since it's been proven that foreign nations like Russia use Twitter and other social media to push disinformation, use bots, stuff like that, is the U.S. government not allowed to even request hey, we found these things that we think might be bots? Is that going too far, or should they just allow all of that to happen and potentially undermine democracy?
There was a situation where a certain a bunch of bots were identified by a third party, and it turned out that those bots were mostly just American citizens. So I think there's a concern.
Those bots were American citizens. Not surprising at all.
In that identification process,
who's this chick all up on Alex Jones? I mean, I guess that's his wife, but it's a little distracting. Come on, it's PDA. You're on stage, bro.
Has to actually be accurate, and you can't just base it on somebody's biases. But I'd love to hear what other people think about that.
You're asking if it's ethical for the government to go in and ban what they consider bots on a social network? Is that the question?
Specifically, foreign interference.
Again, the government make recommendations to social media platforms. So, for instance, in the Twitter files, the government made huge recommendations to Twitter where they said, we think that these accounts are foreign disinformation. I think because they said they followed 2 or more Chinese diplomats, but they had no tweets.
Okay, so did they though? Or is that just what they said? Because that really, really, really changes the situation.
And then Twitter overviewed a lot of these accounts. They said, we don't agree, and they didn't ban them. That would be an example of a request that the government might make, or making something aware of a tech company, to a tech company.
Maybe I think the word foreign might be a little vague. It might
foreign as in not American, not of this country.
Yeah, because if I'm in Ohio, but I'm chatting with someone in the UK, am I all of a sudden a foreign compliant? So
good question.
I really I don't know. I don't like the government. I don't like some central authority shutting down what they don't like and using man, this is a fucking challenging environment. I can't answer this on my own.
Do you know what's interesting is I had brought this to talk about.
Real quick, I just want to give another shout out to Ian for being able to sit there while there's all this going on. And still, he doesn't feel the pressure to talk out his ass. He doesn't feel the pressure to, try to give an answer when he doesn't have one. A lot of people, especially fans of the Timcast IRL show, hate Ian because he'll say some dumb stuff a lot of times. But the fact is, we all say dumb stuff sometimes. And if you don't have the courage to say the things that you think, even if you're not sure if they're dumb or not, then you're never going to know if they're dumb or not. You're always just going to think that you're right. You're always just going to think that, whatever you think is the only way to think, and that nobody can tell you anything. So shout out to Ian for being willing to be wrong.
Because I wanted to bring Tolstoy to talk about censorship, and Tolstoy talks about how when he was writing this book, what is art? Because I'm a dork. Anyway, when he was writing this book, the publisher came to him and said, can we just change this a little bit? And can we just change that a little bit? And then it went to the government censorship office and all of this. And he says that eventually a book appeared under his name containing thoughts attributed to him, which are not mine. And I think that that's something that we have to be concerned about when we have an environment of censorship and when we have a culture that encourages self-censorship, because as soon as you have any kind of censorship higher up, it trickles down and people start censoring themselves, and self-censorship is censorship, and we should look out for that and not let it happen.
Agreed.
Yeah. Go to the next one.
We're gonna
Well
jump
said.
into the next.
Well said. Well said. That anything that is driving towards self-censorship is also something to be concerned about, for sure.
Keep going.
question.
I have a quote-unquote conservative family member in the federal judiciary to whom I have posed the argument of publisher versus platform.
This is what we were talking about before, Section 230, publisher versus platform. The publisher, it is they are the ones, like the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, anything that is in that paper is under the name of the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal or whatever else. A platform is a place like YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, where they allow you the place for you to be a publisher, for you to publish posts. But the way that it works right now, because the law was set up before we had, the internet the way it was, or the way it is, they get the same protections as publishers, but they have the benefits of being a platform.
They have argued that forcing the speech on these corporations is the limitation of the corporation's speech. How do we convince the neocon conservatives that the corporations are not working in the best interests of the population and the monopolies held by these corporations are infringing on the personal liberties, not allowing competition, especially when it is these people who are being tasked with protecting those liberties?
Great question.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. That's a great question. The neocons want total power. They follow Professor Strauss.
Yep.
So they basically love Hitler. So they know they're running over us. They're bad people. They want control. And so, yeah, we keep thinking like, oh, the system wants to work with us. You know, they want to be nice. They're trying to be liberal. No, the globalists are fascists that hide behind a liberal veil, folks. And they want total control. Free speech is the answer to them.
Shout out to Alex Jones. Shout out to Alex Jones. Free speech is the answer to them.
One way you can look at it is corporate free speech is not about who they let say what, because they can control that legally.
Yeah, so like Lucy says, but you sign YouTube's terms and conditions, you work for YouTube. Correct. But as we were talking about earlier, I don't have the same option to get the same result or the same product or the same service on a different platform because of the way that the algorithms are set up. And so that's why Ian was saying, okay, well, if YouTube is not going to push my stuff, then I should be able to get the code, because YouTube is such a large entity and is being used for political discourse. It now falls in the range that should be covered by free speech. So then if YouTube's not going to let me be pushed in the algorithm, then myself or somebody else should be able to take the code to just have videos on a website, again, not super complex, and make my own YouTube. But I'm not allowed to do that. It's that's why Rumble and Kick and all these things are having such a hard time building, because they don't have the same thing. And I mean, you're completely right, but it doesn't change the fact that the terms and conditions suck. It's just a shitty choice. I mean, that's also true. Just because you sign something doesn't mean it won't be held up in law. I don't know. I mean, YouTube's pretty good with that. But yep, exactly. Section 230. Just because you sign it doesn't mean they follow their own honey trail. Well said. Well said. I like that one.
It's about the code they use. Their speech is their code. Exactly. For these networks, social networks that we're talking about, that's the way they're communicating with us. So that should be free. And if that's free, then I think the problem solves itself.
There you go. Yeah, Ian.
Exactly. Freedom is the answer. It will dispel, it will discredit. The billions of people online will see the lie. We will deal with it.
Notice how quiet Destiny's being. All we want is freedom of speech. We want the freedom for competition. We want the freedom that is enshrined in the Constitution. We just want it to apply to this area as well. What is the problem? Frigo says terms and services need to be gutted, so it's not a word vomit of legal jargon. Yeah, that's a whole other discussion, but completely agree.
We don't need some overlord doing it. That always goes wrong.
I'm going to try to touch on three things real quick. Sorry, I've had a couple drinks. So
That's it.
With the
Shit,
Hunter Biden
me
laptop
too.
situation, I am far less concerned about the dick pics and more concerned about the 10% for the big guy. And then Tony Bobolin.
Exactly. That's what I was saying before, is that when we were talking about the laptop story, Destiny's like, well, I guess you guys want to see Hunter Biden's dick. Oh. No, you moron. And he's not a moron. He knows what he's doing. He knows he's framing it that way to make them look stupid. But thanks to this dude, No, I don't care about the dick pics. I care about the news. I care about the reality that 10 for the big guy. That's what I care about.
Zelensky coming out and saying that Joe Biden is the big guy. But more concerning for that is the fact that I don't think that same level of censorship would have been applied if it had been Donald Trump's kid doing the same things.
Yep.
When it comes to
why no freedoms? Because he's trying to make it look like a non-issue. He's trying to make it look like it's no big deal. They just, censored a story. Oh, it's no big deal. You need to see dicks that bad? That's what he's trying to frame.
Algorithms. I'm very wary of algorithms, but I think the best way to go forward is sort of an informed consent model. Like if I'm going to be subject to an algorithm, I think I should at least know that I'm being fed a certain feed. Like whether I'm being shown more right-wing content because I'm watching right-wing stuff, or if I'm being shown more left-wing content. Either way, I think the company should be able to do what they want. I was wondering what you guys felt about that as far as trying to balance.
You think they should be transparent in telling you what it is that the algorithm is that it's feeding you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. What do you think, Ian?
Yeah.
Or Michael, go ahead.
I was thinking about TV commercials, and if they had to say every 3 hours we're going to show you a gummy bear commercial, they don't have to tell us that. They just feed us this subliminal thing at the impulses that they want. No one's ever raised a.
Hold on, it might be a 1, but it might be a 20. So for those of you not familiar, Ian on the TimCast IRL show, he likes to play Dungeons and Dragons, so it's kind of an inside joke that everything he says, they play with a 20-sided die, I guess, and so you roll it, and everything Ian says is either a 1, it's just like, bro, what are you talking about, or it's a 20, and it's like out of the park. So it sounds like a 1, but let's hear him out.
There was a rule, though. There used to be this rule on network television that you had to give equal time to both political candidates.
The fairness doctrine.
Yeah, we used to have that.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal.
We used to have that. But not anymore.
Folks, we can sit here and debate all this, and I think it's kind of rearranging deck chairs in the Titanic. I already knew this because when Obama left office, and he was just a puppet of the deep state, they put $2 billion into the Countering Foreign Disinformation and Propaganda Act, and then suddenly, months later, they're having congressional hearings in the Defense Department in the House Armed Services Committee saying Alex Jones is a Russian agent. We're battling him right now with the CIA. And I'm like watching C-SPAN going, wow, I didn't know I was a Russian agent. Plus, less the CIA's after me. So they've done all this, and now they've got all these dashboards and think tanks and fact checkers and groups that are attacking and censoring and doing this. That needs to stop. Then we can debate the algorithms and free speech all day long. We have like Darth Vader literally bombing the living snot out of us.
Yep.
And so we debate all the little nuts and bolts of it. The point is you shouldn't have corporations with big government and think tanks and universities censoring people and then calling it liberal. And again, I love real liberals that love freedom and happiness and all that.
Real liberals who love freedom and happiness.
These are not liberals. These are the military-industrial complex that Eisenhower warned us of. These are the most cold-blooded corporations in the world that wrap themselves in Black Lives Matter. It's all crap.
I kind of want to hear what Michael Seifert had to say, because I feel like you're about to explode some knowledge on it.
Well, I don't know about that, but I will say that to the gentleman's point who asked that question, it's why I like to harp on that New York Post story so much. I think it was you, right? Yeah, thank you for the question.
All right, Destiny, pay attention, because he's talking about the laptop story that you think is just about dick pics.
And the comment on the New York Post story, it's a huge deal, and if you're just trying to write it off by saying it was just about Hunter Biden's dick pics, it's...
I wish I had... all right, let's just do this because I have a funny joke and I'm a child, so.
Story. It's a huge deal.
And we're not just talking about Hunter Biden.
If you're just trying to write it off by saying it was just about Hunter Biden's dick pics, it's completely disingenuous. The reality is, if a government can get in bed with a corporate entity to purposely thwart the likelihood of their opposing candidate winning the election, that's a very serious problem. And so it's so much more about the business dealings. And then to elaborate on the point even further, like the big issue here too is that these corporate entities have become hijacked by lobbyists and by their dealings with a government that'll give special favors if they align with them politically. Like we got ours started with our company.
Can we get some examples?
Yeah, I would be happy to.
Oh, Destiny Destiny's speaking up. All right, let's see what he's got to say.
Really happy to. I was about to. Thank you.
Did you watch the congressional hearings the last month?
Yeah.
I want to know for Twitter. What were the special favors given to Twitter?
What?
For the Hunter Biden story. What are the special favors given to Twitter?
He's gonna go down the. He did an interview, Destiny, with a bunch of the people who were working on the Twitter files, and he was trying to make it seem like exactly what he's doing right now. That because it wasn't explicitly stated, "Hey, we are the FBI, and we are telling you, Facebook or Twitter, to take down this thing," that there was just nothing there. That's what he's trying to do. Like, I don't understand what it is that you are looking for. I wish Peter Boghossian was here. Because he would be able to, his big question to everybody is, what information or what evidence would you need to change your mind? What is it that you would need to see or hear to understand that Twitter has special favor with the government?
What do you mean special?
They paid him like $6 million bucks.
You just said that there are special favors given to corporations for interacting or cooperating.
Yeah, I was about to give you an example.
Okay, let's hear.
During COVID, the businesses that were willing to puppet the messages of the regime were deemed essential, even though they had the same attributes and products and services offered as non-essential businesses, because they might have disagreed with the regime's political views.
And they got major corporate funding.
That is a perfect example of what happens when the
what
government.
does that have to do with Twitter?
The question wasn't about Twitter. The question moved into corporate entities in general,
so it's
getting
just more
involved in
random
political.
shit over random shit.
See, again, that's what he does. He asks for something, he gets it, and then he moves the goalpost. Oh, well, that's not good enough. So what is it that you would want? What is it that you would want that would actually have you engage with this conversation in a good faith way, that you're not just trying to win and you're actually trying to understand what it is that people like us, all of the panel, sit here and are trying to say? Any Film says they will give him some information about Twitter silencing the story, and the Destiny will say, "Where's your evidence?" And yep, give me like weird words. 6 million. Destiny ignores that number. I'm not going there. Yeah, I got you.
Also, wasn't there in the Twitter files?
You're not arguing the point. You're
Yeah,
just
she
saying
said
it's
something.
random shit when you can't
The
defend it.
reason why it's random shit is because all you guys are doing are bringing up random fucking conspiracies.
No.
You just asked for an example. You just asked for an example, and he gave you an example, and it's like, oh, well, that's just one example.
And it's like every
Bill
time you have
Gates
the opportunity
spent
to
like
talk,
$5 billion
rather
during
than
that.
staying on one topic and talking about one thing and focusing on an actual conversation, it's like, here's the deep state.
This is like
Cope. This is the Cope. He doesn't have anything to say. And so instead of trying to argue on their terms, he's just reframing the entire conversation as if the entire panel and everybody in the audience agreeing with them are just stupid. And he is the only smart one that understands that we're not actually having a real conversation. We're just talking about random this, that, and that, and the other. Or maybe you're just wrong.
Essential businesses, and here's trans.
You said
and that's
give
like the
us
whole fucking panel.
You
Like, what are we
said
talking
give
about
us
up here?
one
Holy
example,
shit.
and he just kicked your ass with examples.
And just transparently,
like
none of what I just said was conspiratorial. It was all very out in the open. Do you all remember certain businesses being called essential and others being non-essential?
that was like churches.
Pfizer spent $10 million on advertising. That's what paid for
All
it.
right, next question,
next question.
Do you remember how
people here,
wait,
folks? I got another.
do you guys remember how casinos and liquor stores were essential and churches and schools were not?
He's like, you are defeated. You will never stand.
You guys remember that?
Do you think Destiny could ever be red-pilled? He doesn't seem intellectually honest. He's not being intellectually honest in this debate. I do think he could be red-pilled. I think because he's not being intellectually honest, but he can be. He knows how to be. He's specifically playing to his audience. And even I've been trying to watch his own chat because this is from his channel. So I'm trying to watch the chat. And a lot of his own people are saying like, yo, what are you doing? Like, say something, like, all that. So yes, I do think he could be red-pilled. I think he is stuck in this spot of being the guy on the left who is willing to call out the left. And he definitely is. I'll give him credit for that. Not in front of a bunch of conservatives like this, but especially on his own stream. He will definitely call out things. I mean, the most famous thing is him standing up for Kyle Rittenhouse and So I do think that he could, but the issue is that that's the role that he always takes, is the guy on the left attacking the left. So he sees himself as part of that group. Now, depending on how much further this wokeness goes, we'll see if you paid him enough. I don't know. He's been. I'm going to disagree with that, because while he's not being intellectually honest in this conversation. I don't think he is a grifter. I think he does, for the most part, believe the things that he's saying. He's just not engaging in the way that it would let him. Like, he's not going to change his mind on stage here. That doesn't mean that he's not going to go home and think about what was said. DPC says, yep, he just plays his audience and acts like he is the level-headed lefty. What he needs is somebody who is further to the left of him to get him to argue more right-wing, not right-wing, but further to the right positions. And there's just not that many smart people on the left that are into debating and stuff. I mean, I watch his channel. Because I want to know what's going on over there. And just nobody can even come close to him. That's why I need to debate this man. Because I'm a better debater. He may know more things about like the facts of news stories. I'm a better debater, and I am more honest, and I have better values. If I got in front of Destiny, he would be very embarrassed, and I would be famous. And I'd remember each and every one of you for being here before that.
But I don't trust anyone to do it. That includes Gab, Truth Social.
I missed this. What was he saying?
Remember how people here, folks?
I support censorship. But I don't trust anyone to do it. That includes Gab, Truth Social, whatever. If open protocols like for news and social media, like Nostr or Blue Sky, succeed, how might this conversation look different? What are we going to be talking about in 5 years when none of these platforms can actually intermediate news and social media?
We're going to be talking about when code says no, disallow all dogs, but what the code is actually doing is transposing some other value for the word dog. And so when you read the code, you're going to see that you're going to think it's doing something about dogs that it's not. So you're going to need to know the language of the sub-language of the language.
Yeah, I think that you're exactly right.
Did anybody understand
the other
that?
thing too is when you censor people, right, and you say these kinds of ideas can't be talked about. What people are going to do is they're going to continue to talk about the ideas, but using different words and different language, and then you're going to have to censor that. Like, I remember very distinctly when my son was in kindergarten, I think it was, and the teacher said that you're not allowed to call anybody stupid, and so all the kids were like, "Okay, we won't call anybody stupid," and they started calling each other silly instead.
So we're just talking about semantic obfuscation. Semantic obfuscation. Using words in a way that they are not meant to be used to purposely either confuse other people or to make your own position seem artificially better than it actually is.
And then the teacher tried to make them not say the word silly, and they just kept coming up with other words so that they could call each other fucking stupid.
Obviously.
That's what's great about humans is we're not going to be suppressed. Yeah!
All right, next. I guess this is my question. What do you consider the ethical obligations of private companies like Meta for free speech and facilitating public discourse? I mean, I know initially people were talking about, oh, easy, just ban child porn, no problem. That's all we need to do. And then Meta is terrible. But I guess I'm just kind of curious, like, what in your minds did you consider? Also, like,
but that's not what I said. I said it was great free internet we had 5-6 years ago. You ban hack material or people being doxxed. You ban child and calls for violence or like open scams and criminal activity. Anything illegal is banned.
Fair enough. Poop City says, I know why BBC guy couldn't think of hate speech, because all of the hate speech he talks about on Twitter is from the side they protect and advocate for. It's that, and combined with the fact that he is just repeating that. He doesn't need because he's in the club, he doesn't need to have any real basis to what he's saying. As long as he's mimicking what everybody else is saying, he's good. It's not until he meets Elon that he has even thought about, well, what is that hateful content? Because as long as you toe the line, then you're good. That's all that matters. Because if you toe the line, you give them power. There is power in numbers. And if you're too scared to speak out against what they say, even if it is 2 + 2 = 5, then you're going to fall in line, and 2 + 2 will equal 5. I mean, obviously it never will, but try to convince the society in 100 years. Lefty Lucy says, just like they changed the definition of vaccine and pandemic a few years ago, just like they changed the definition of literally a while back. Literally doesn't mean literally anymore. It literally means figuratively and also means literally. Good job. Same way they changed the definition of woman. They are attacking the language because they know it works. It does work. So people talk all the time about how these culture war issues are just a distraction and da-da-da-da. And I can understand that. I can understand why people feel that way. But the truth of the matter is, again, there's power in numbers. And if people don't have the numbers to talk about, whether we should do this and that in Ukraine or not, and they're just like, well, Ukraine good. So yeah, well, Ukraine flag in my Twitter bio. Well, then the government's just gonna be able to go and do whatever. If we have people actually speaking out and standing up and say, whoa, I don't like this, calling their senators, calling their mayors, then we have more power. But as long as they keep the standard that you don't ask questions, you just fall in line, then they have power. Yep. Newspeak, doublespeak, whatever you want to call it. It's the same shit.
Also, you need to learn when to put down the sword. You fight as a corporation metaphorically to gain market traction. And then once you get it, you need to let it go. You need to set it down and let the market take it.
There was actually this really interesting thing that happened recently where, so there was this trans day of violence that was being advocated for on Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, no, not violence, of vengeance. Trans day of vengeance. And there was a gun on the poster.
And then anybody who reported on the fact that the Trans Day of Violence was being advocated for was banned. Do you remember that? And so, or was it violence or vengeance? I think it was vengeance.
It was vengeance. But Destiny, where are you? Where are you on all this?
Not violence. Apologies.
No, vengeance, yeah.
But yeah, I remember.
Yeah. Oh, Poop City. It's actually mental how the Supreme Court moron couldn't say what a woman is. That's how confident they are that they brainwash their own side through the algorithm. Spot on. That's exactly it. Because she knew that she would get in more trouble by saying adult human female, despite the fact that she knows what a woman means, than just being like, well, I can't tell you, I don't know. No. She knows that. So obviously she's going to go with what's better for her.
Remember Andy No got locked out of Twitter. Marjorie Taylor Greene got locked out of Twitter. The postmillennial.com. You should check us out. thepostmillennial.com/subscribe. You should come check us out. Anyway.
But you're right. They didn't ban the people calling for violence.
They banned the journalists reporting on it and the congresswoman reporting on it. What about that? That's a tough one, right? Because, and what you had, what's her name? The new head of Twitter Trust and Safety, talking about how anyone who said Trans Day of Vengeance would be banned, even the reporting on it. And I thought that was disingenuous.
I would agree.
Well, I think real quick, I don't think that.
All right, Destiny, let's see what kind of bullshit you're going to spin up.
The issue wasn't that they were trying to ban the reporters. I think the issue is that it was exploding on Twitter, and they were just trying to get rid of like that type of speech on Twitter as quickly as they could.
Yeah,
so they ended up.
Cope.
5,000. Everybody that was like
5,000 accounts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was an intentional, like, if you're talking about this, we're going to ban you. They were just trying to get it off the platform.
So, why? Why don't you think that? Why don't you think that? When this happens over and 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 over again, then why would you think that it wasn't like that? Why is this default to imagine, the government? No, they couldn't be doing that to us. It's the government. They care about us. They want. No. Stop bootlicking and open your goddamn eyes, bro.
But
ended
that's
up
a
catching lot of
situation where it
journalists
would
in
have
the-
been like AI doing that. That wasn't
probably
people doing
was,
it.
yes,
So in that
yeah.
case, it would have been better to have people monitoring that system.
Well, then it's a question of how many people do you want to hire? That's the issue, is that it's really expensive to hire a lot of people to do content moderation.
I know.
Okay, then you already have people paying $8 a month for a stupid check mark. Then make a Twitter premium, just like there's YouTube premium, just like everything else has premium options. Do the free version and you can get, whatever, and then the premium version. And then you have money to pay people. Or you can just establish a platform that is so good that the advertising money allows you to hire the people you need. I mean, am I the smartest person in the world? I'm pretty sure I'm not. I'm pretty certain I'm not the smartest person in the world. But what is happening? How can people be so dumb? Boom City says, on my Twitter's bio since I created it, said the greatest threat right now is the algorithm. It needs to change before it's too late. Well, I think it might be a little bit too late.
Still.
Another shout out to the
Necessary.
Minds jury system on this one, because I think that might be the future of moderation online.
All right, I'm getting.
And why couldn't Destiny say that? I mean, it's just sad. It's just sad because I like I said, I watch Destiny a lot and I respect the way that he holds himself a lot. But it just seems like every time I bring something where he's actually in a real conversation, anything that we talk about on this, he always retreats into this defensive mode of just making sure he looks good and not actually engaging with anything. That's not, if you check out his channel and the debates that he has just when he's on his own stream, that's not how he is. But I guess it's because he knows that the other people trying to argue with him are just dumb.
Do it up. Jump in here, so I'm going to do it. My name is Dave. I'm a crypto anarchist. Destiny.
Crypto anarchist. Yeah, I like that. All right. Crypto
I
anarchist.
like the premise of this question, so you can sit it out. I'd love some substantive answers. But,
Don't censor Destiny. Don't
I'm
censor
just
Destiny.
saying, you can sit it out. Take a breath, drink some water. So obviously, to the rest of us,
Base.
government censorship is getting more and more severe. They're making laws like the new Restrict Act, or they're just coercing the hell out of these platforms, dragging all the CEOs up to Capitol Hill and grilling them until they agree, okay, we'll go along with the Atlantic Council. Don't shut us down.
Yep.
So a lot of people think that this is just going to keep getting worse.
It is.
And no matter who we left, right, or center, the agenda continues. It got worse under Obama. It got worse under Trump. It doesn't seem to matter who's in that seat. So as content creators and as people who have built free speech platforms, moderation algorithms and banning are one level, but infrastructure providers killing apps like Parler, whether you're on, AWS or whatever, your server, your .com gets seized or shut down. Blockchains were created specifically as a fuck you to all of that, as a response to authoritarian control. So we have Bitcoin for money. We have a lot of Web3 smart contracts.
So he's talking about how, the blockchain, which is how they track all the crypto stuff. I think he's going to say that we can do something, use the blockchain technology for social media.
That can create censorship-resistant platforms that can't be shut down, no matter what laws they create. So my question is, instead of just jumping from platform to platform as content creators, as the algorithms squeeze you out, why are we not just jumping right to Web3 blockchain tech? Not only the content and the social graph, but also the servers, the compute, the storage, the domains themselves. All of this tech is available now. Why are we not building aggressively for when we inevitably face the next wave of censorship? Thank you very much.
I mean, we're doing the best we can, but it's still immature a little bit. It's getting there, and I think everyone on this
I think
panel.
you'd be surprised how mature it's.
Oh, trust me. I mean,
I'm not sure you're killing it.
Yeah. No, yeah. We need to decomplexify it because people just aren't willing to be inconvenienced for freedom. So baking freedom into the apps is key, but people are going to stay where they are for now.
Well, and I think part of what we have to do a better job of, because I'm very passionate about this very topic, is messaging it more in a user-friendly manner. Because I think sometimes we get really passionate and excited about the future of Web3, but like you have to go where consumers are. And on our platform, the average consumer on the platform is a 37-year-old mom with kids who's incredibly busy. She makes a majority of daily purchases in the household. So if you can get her involved and get her buying into what you're trying to build, you're going to shift the entire economy toward freedom, which is amazing. But the problem is that cohort of people are so busy. That's my wife. She doesn't have time to dive deep into the mechanics of why this is so important.
Yeah. So I was basically saying that this is the guy's basically right, but in order to, again, power in numbers, the only way to get a Web3 blockchain type of thing would be to have enough people understand what that is and push for it. But most people don't even understand what blockchain technology is in the first place. And it's very hard to find like day one, very entry level sources on this. When I was first getting into crypto, I didn't know anything. So luckily there was a channel that was doing like Bitcoin for beginners or whatever. So if you check on my channel, there's actually a playlist of videos from other channels. They're not even my videos, but when I was learning about all this stuff, I kept, a video was helpful in giving me some information on what are the basics of this. I definitely suggest all of you, whether you, if you don't already know, go check out that playlist. And especially now, you definitely want to know enough about crypto to decide whether or not that is a viable option for you, because the dollar is not doing well. Kelly Green says, I'm not going to tell the power in numbers. It'll probably get me banned. Yeah, please. It'll probably get me banned.
So we have to actually make it accessible and friendly from a messaging perspective. I think we're way far along and very mature, actually, in the functional ability for these platforms to thrive and provide a safe outlet. What we're not mature in is how we're messaging it. And so I think we need to do a much better job of that.
And we don't need the CIA with fact checkers running everything.
Facts.
This is going to be our last question.
That's a fact check. That is true.
And unfortunately, we ran out of time for everyone. There will be a Q&A after the last panel.
All right,
first
last
of all,
question.
Alex, Luke, please talk more about LeBone on your shows. He is the key. Alex, I'm impressed. You dog, awesome, really good. Specifically, I want to ask Destiny. You spoke earlier about your belief that you think that the left and the right have good faith in their ideas. I posit to you, ideas are themselves possessive. They are not acting on good faith. They are acting on the faith of the ideas, which take hold of.
They're not acting in good faith. They are acting in the faith of the ideas. That's an interesting way to phrase it. They're acting on the faith of ideas, which take hold.
You act in their service, not the other way around. And so my question to you is,
I don't know if I mean, on the left, I certainly agree with that. But, and definitely there's people, all across the board. But I don't know if that's the average person. Specifically, like your America First conservative, that group. I don't know if that's true.
why do you view everything through the lens of the group, only the group, and you approach absolutely everything from that point of view only?
Because he's a commie. No, he's not, but he's absolutely right. The left is trained, dare I say brainwashed, to look at everything as the group, not understanding that by focusing on the group, there is a possibility for individuals to fall through the cracks. Whereas if you focus on the individual and individuals make the group, and each individual is solid, you have a stronger group.
Only.
Can you clarify, what do you mean approach everything through the lens of the group? I don't know what you mean by that.
I knew what he meant. Again, am I the smartest person in the world? I might be. Don't blow up my ego.
Think, you know.
Well, like if I'm speaking to an individual, I'll try to take the individual for where the individual's at. But if I'm talking about like conservatives or liberals or communists or fascists, I'm gonna have to talk about what the group thinks. It just depends on where the conversation is directed to.
Okay, but my point here is that in each and every one of those topics, those are ideas. Those are ideas that are themselves the issue, not the group. You try and focus on this narrow point, and you get lost in the minutia of all of these things. You sat there and argued about, well, is Twitter really censoring people, or are they a private corporation? That's not the issue at hand.
Bars. That's not the issue at hand. He's trying to have the arguments that he is already right about, that probably most people don't disagree.
The issue at hand is the idea itself. It's the ideas that need to be brought forth.
The problem is that the reason why it's important to get into the weeds and to have the very boring conversations to figure out what's actually happening is because ideally, if you're trying to make actionable citizens, if you're trying to get people that are listening to do something, and you're not just trying to sell fear or deep state or conspiracies or make money on getting people angry, you should be able to present a clear idea of like what has happened in a particular thing.
But it's not a conspiracy.
That people can prevent in the future.
The
So for instance,
censoring.
if we think that Twitter has engaged in an action that we disagree with, then the goal would be to try to pressure Twitter to change the policy. If we think that Twitter is controlled by the deep state, controlled by CIA and the government and Epstein's Island and all this, what you're essentially telling your audience is no matter what you do, nothing you say makes a difference. You can't do anything to change anything that's going on. So that's
Okay, so I'm trying to listen. We're gonna go back and I'll go through it.
The reason why I like to focus on
conspiracy. The conspiracy's been.
Yeah. So he was talking about conspiracies, and then Alex Jones is jumping in saying it's not a conspiracy. Let's try to break this down bit by bit.
Happen in a particular thing.
But it's not a conspiracy.
So yeah, he was saying, and instead of the conspiracy, whatever, and Alex Jones is trying to say it's not a conspiracy. I'm gonna try and see if I can figure out what Destiny is saying.
That people can prevent in the future. So for instance, if we think that Twitter has engaged in an action that we disagree with,
okay, if Twitter engaged in an action we disagree
then
with,
the goal would be to try to pressure Twitter to change the policy. If we think that
Sure.
Twitter
Yeah,
is
but you talk
controlled
about
by
people
the
using
deep state,
terms.
controlled by
You
CIA
talk
and the
about
government and
people
Epstein's
using
Island and all
terms.
this, what you're
You use
essentially telling your
conspiracy. It's
audience is
come
no
out
matter
in
what
Congress.
you do,
so he's saying that if you are saying that it's all controlled by the deep state and the CIA, you're telling people that there's nothing you can do, and no matter what you do, it's not going to matter. That's just wrong. And it's also not a conspiracy.
Nothing you say makes a difference.
And the deep
You
state
can't do
are
anything to
censoring
change
and
anything
controlling.
that's going on. So the reason why I like to focus on
conspiracy. The conspiracy's been proven. Big tech, big banks trying to suppress the people and create a monopoly. You keep using words like conspiracy theorist. Hey man, people know what's going on.
You can't be in 2023 on the left and be talking about conspiracies. Every single political conspiracy in the last 3 years has come out to be true. Every single one. So don't sit here on your high horse talking about conspiracy, when in 2 weeks you're going to be like, oh yeah, actually that was true. No shit, bro. Do they have a policy that they have to pick up the government's phone call? I mean, may as well. Like, exactly. They don't have that policy. But they do have to pick up the phone call. And because there's nothing stated that, hey, when we call, you better pick up the phone, Destiny's like, well, what are you talking about?
stupid thing you're doing with that type of speech is removing your audience from the voter pool. So, I mean, you know, power to you if you want to talk that way. But at the end of the day,
he's saying because you're telling people the truth, that the deep state or whatever you want to call it has this agenda, that you're taking your people out of the voting pool. Like, what? What? That's not at all the case. Maybe to people who, you know, in your circles, well, oh no, systemic this, we can't change anything. Maybe that victim mentality sets hold because of your mentality. But for people like us, when we see a problem, we want to fix it. We don't want to just sit around and complain about it. We want to address it.
They can do anything.
Where big
right?
tech is suppressing election knowledge, medical knowledge, all this. It's a conspiracy theory. A little
so what do you want people to
line.
do about it?
He's like, you use words like conspiracy
Alex,
theory.
what do people do about it?
Theory.
What do you want people to do about it?
I want people to be aware of.
No, not be aware. What do you want people to do about it? You've made them aware. Now, what are they supposed to do?
People.
This is the problem with your platform. It's all you're doing. Oh,
you're trying to.
I'm sorry. I thought you were doing it for like 15 years. I thought you.
Well, hey, if my platform's so weak, why are they trying to ban it?
Yeah, go ahead. What do you want people to do?
What are you gonna do, boy?
What do you want people to do,
I'm
Alex?
gonna wreck the New World Order. That's what I'm gonna do.
Hey, we got MJ in the building. Welcome to the party. How are you doing? We are watching Destiny and Alex Jones go at it.
We need freedom of speech, open platforms without government and corporate censorship, and it'll all sort itself out. That's what I'm saying. And it's not a conspiracy theory. The big, powerful corporations and governments get together to censor and control.
Not a conspiracy.
And protect themselves.
They're not empty platitudes, bro. Stop. Oh my God, the cope is so hard. If I don't believe it, if I don't like it, then it's a conspiracy.
And we fought hard to even get that basic truth out, and we are winning.
Let's go, Alex Jones!
The problem with people talking over each other is it's like painting two different colors of makeup on your face, that you love both of the colors very much, but when you put them on your face, they turn brown. Not that brown's a bad makeup color.
What is that color blue jacket? Is that electric blue?
Electric blue suede, Alex.
Nice okay, guys, we're gonna do
All right, we're doing a little swap because we're pretty much talking about the same stuff for the rest of the show. So Carrie, we're gonna swap out a couple people.
Can we have a round of applause for these guys first?
All right, guys. So that seems to be the end of this section. Poop City says the fact checkers were wildin'. That was intense, guys. That was intense. I did not have the energy for this, or so I thought, and I came on. And between Alex Jones and Destiny and you guys, you kept me going. So, what did you guys think about all this? I mean, it's sad that we see Destiny in this position a lot because he's the only guy who can even do that well. He's the only guy that can even do that well. So how is the liberal, especially the leftist woke ideology, how is it still so strong? I'll tell you, it's because the default is that liberals are right. So most people, like the dude was talking about his wife, most people don't have the time to get into the weeds of this stuff and understand. And the liberal message sounds nice. It does. So it makes sense that, people who don't know any better were like, oh, yeah, that sounds nice. It sounds nice. But how are you going to pay for it? How are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? Facts. Destiny is just another half-boiled frog. You guys know the old adage of you put a frog in a boiling pot of water, is going to jump out, but you put him in a room temperature water and you turn the stove on and he's just going to chill there. It's sad. It's sad. So I'm definitely excited to hear what you guys have to say about this. The party is not over. The party rages on in Discord. If somebody could drop the link for that. Do we even have any mods here? Oh my God, mods gone. All right, well, I'll drop you a link here. So I just dropped the link to the Discord server. That is where we are headed. And we don't have to worry about any kind of YouTube censorship, anything like that. We are just going to go over and talk about whatever we want to talk about. And I invite you to come, and I very much want to see you there. Poop City says, Destiny accused them of subverting the conversation the entire time when that's all he did. Crazy Cope. That's what leftists do. That's what leftists do. I don't know, guys. I don't know. It's we keep seeing this, and the question is, when is this going to be enough? When is it going to be that we see enough of this non-argumentation that people are like, wait a minute, maybe those guys don't really know what they're talking about. Maybe what they say sounds nice, but the other guys who have all this information and statistics and facts and this and that and that and that, paired with the real lived experience of most people, maybe that's who we should listen to. I don't know. But if I had to guess, that would be what we really need. So I want to thank you guys again for hanging out with Morty. And once again, I have been your host, Lutch, a.k.a. The Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Guys, remember, I am here live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and I drop videos every single day, usually 10 to 20-minute videos, and over half of you are not even subscribed. So please hit that subscribe button and head over to Discord. I am very excited to hang out with you guys. Until next time, we are out of here. Peace.